Well, you saw the thumbnail, you read the title, and you've noticed the video length. Yes, we're doing a God Eater retrospective. And about time too. If you've been to the channel long enough, then you might have noticed how I often have gameplay footage of a certain game. That game being God Eater. Why is that? Because this game is near and dear to my Kokoro, and I've spent so much time playing this game, even back in the PSP era. Well, not as much as Monster Hunter because I got like 1,000 hours on Portable 2nd G alone, but the point is, I played the fuck out of this game, so it would only be natural to make a video about it. Now, I'm gonna be talking about God Eater Resurrection, and we'll probably make a video on the second and third installment once this one blows up, I don't know, or after I blow my load. Yay, dick jokes. Just going off a bad start. Now, I won't be talking about the anime or the mobile game because anime footage tend to get copyright strikes, and the mobile game is...
He speaks fluent Japanese.
I can't read this kanji. Yeah, so we're just gonna focus on the three main games. I'm also gonna use Resurrection gameplay footage because my God Eater Burst save file is broken as fuck, and replaying it on a PSP means so let's not do that. Part 1. A brief summary of the game, I guess. So, God Eater is a game made by game developer Shift, published by D3 Publisher, and licensed by Bandai Namco. You know, the people who brought you Anime Boobs, Anime Boobs, Anime Boobs, and Dark Souls. So yeah, they know what they're doing. The first game, titled God Eater, was published in 2010. Not long after, they released God Eater Burst, a re-release of the game with an extended storyline, new monsters, and new characters. Then, in 2015, a re-release of the game came out, titled God Eater Resurrection. My goodness, the re-releases are more jarring than Monster Hunter 2 ones. Like,
stop it. Get some help.
Anyway, it was included in the Day 1 edition of God Eater 2 Rage Burst. It was also the first game I played on my PS4, and played the shit out of it back in Japan. Yeah, I played in the dorms after school, sometimes until midnight. Heck, I'd spent my whole Saturday playing God Eater Resurrection in the living room, and my dorm mates, and even dorm mother, would just walk by and shit. Now, I'm not a couch potato, but if it's negative 10 degrees outside, then I might as well stay inside where it's warm. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's just start with its story, I guess. Part 3. Oh yeah, give me that plot. Also, spoiler alert. In an age where monsters called Aragami rules the world because of a fuck-up in a science experiment, countries around the world made soldiers called God Eaters. These God Eaters have a bit of Aragami injected inside of them, making them capable of fighting against the Aragami themselves. Also, they have to be teenagers, cause fuck you, that's why. So our player is a new God Eater recruit because, again, fuck you, that's why. We're dropped in the Far East branch of Fenrir, an organization responsible for fending against Aragami. Anyway, the game begins with the player getting injected with this big schlong and becomes a God Eater. After a brief introduction, we're brought to, well, you guessed it, a simulation room for the tutorial. Assassin's Creed is calling. They want Altair back. After the procedure, we meet this Count Sora. Well, his name is Kota, but he may as well be Sora because of those baggy pants.
Down the last piece. So, you were a match too? That makes at least 2 of us. How old are you anyway? Well, I've still got a nanosecond of experience on you. Pleasure to meet you.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
He's really talkative and annoying and won't shut up about this TV show called Bugger Alley. What a simp. So you may be asking, why are these teenagers chosen to be God Eaters instead of the military? Well, apparently, there's a compatibility and shit when it comes to injecting Aragami cells called Oracle Cells. Oracle Cells? That's a dumb name. Let's call it Oracum Cells. There, much better. Anyway, after getting a lecture from Dr. Sakaki, boring name again, let's call him Dr. Suck. Yeah, that's much better, I guess. Anyway, we're finally off to our first mission. It's here that we meet Lindo, a very charismatic God Eater who uses his charisma during combat. No joke, he has a charisma skill, and that's his thing, apparently. During his first mission, he teaches you basics in combat with actual Aragami. Not really a good teacher, if you ask me. I mean,
You got 3 big rules. Don't die. If you're in danger, frickin' run. And last, hide. Well, not hide, use cover. Stealth wins fights. Wait, is that 4 big rules then?
dude can't even count. How the fuck is he our leader? Anyway, kill monster, go back to base. Afterwards, we meet Sakuya, Lindo's friend. Sure, friend. They totally haven't boned yet. Fucking Lindo getting all the girls. Thankfully, Lindo doesn't show up in the next mission and it's just me and Sakuya. Too bad I chose a female character for this. Fuck. After that, we go back and talk to both characters as they just stand there.
Menacingly!
Doesn't matter which option we pick though, because she'll just say the same thing. Okay, next mission.
Hey, what's up? I assume you're the new star rookie everyone's been going on about. I'm Eric. That's right, Eric der Vogelweide.
This is Eric. He's not important. This is Soma, an edgelord who talks like someone who listens to Linkin Park.
I hate being the guy to break it to you, but death is not so rare out here.
I don't need friends. They disappoint me.
Forget it. The time for mourning has come and gone. We've got a mission. Let's go.
Now remember this particular scene. Remember this dialogue. Because we're gonna come back to that later to explain why this game can be really, really hypocritical. But no time for that because we're surrounded by Aragamis. Oh no. Nothing a little spear thrust can handle. Fuck. Eventually, we beat them and go back to base. Next mission. We're going with Kota this time and find out he likes girls like Sakuya.
Yeah? Are you close? Isn't she just smoking hot? And not just hot, but kind. And sweet. And hot. She's like a freaking Amazon warrior maiden. Damn, she's so fine.
Too much detail, dude. Like, too much detail. Reminds me of that ice cream guy.
That top note, that cream, pure vanilla.
Anyway, time for the mission, I guess. It's here that we fight our first big Aragami, the Congo. Well, technically a medium-sized Aragami. Point is, there's no more of those weak monsters that we're gonna. Oh fuck, they're still here.
Intelligent. Come home safe.
Now the Congo, not that one, likes flailing its arms and blasts off wind cannons that can blow away player. It also has a move where it spins around horizontally and vertically, giving you little time to do a charge attack or any attack at all. But if we just hit it from behind, it can't really do anything. Just make sure that we dash away during the horizontal spin. It's usually choreographed so we can tell when it's going to do the move. When enraged, it moves faster and it spins for a longer period of time. Not a problem if we use the gun to shoot the fucker dead. Taste my 4-way bullets, motherfucker! Oh, by the way, I use the cannon because it gives the player ability to store OP. Shoot your way to victory and we're back to the base. Next mission.
The kill list today. Just the Gaboro? Let's get it done and get to the bar.
Not important. It's just a Bora Bora extermination with Lindo and Sakuya. You know what? Screw it, I'm gonna talk about it. So, in this mission, we're fighting a Bora Bora. A fish, crocodile, shark thing that shoots water cannons from its horns. It's a fairly easy boss that has its whole face as its weakness. Of course, we're gonna be left defenseless if we attack it head on, but if you keep exploiting its weakness, it'll stagger and it's just a breeze from there. I also recommend breaking its crown first to get rid of the water vortex that it summons. Don't hit the side because it won't deal this much damage, and most importantly, don't rely on Sakuya. Seriously, I am almost on the verge of death and she won't even heal me. She's just standing there. She doesn't even dodge when she gets hit. Good thing Lindo was in the team, because fuck you, Sakuya. Moving on. Now the next mission, however, gives us our first foreshadowing. So apparently, just as we're about to begin the mission, Lindo bails out because he has a date.
Oh, well, you know, I got a hot date waiting for me, so it's just gonna be you guys.
Yeah, sure. Because a date is more important than literally saving people from godlike monsters. But yeah, he tells us not to die, and now we're on our own. Thanks a lot, Lindo. After we solo the Congo, because 3 people are having a hard time with a single mob, I'm like, how the fuck did they even manage to become a god eater? We go back to base and find Lindo chilling at the entrance.
Pretty well. I managed to wrap up the night early as per your request. How'd you guys do?
As per your request, no one died.
Like, what the fuck, man? We were out there fighting Aragami, and you're in here chilling your ass out. Then the intercom tells us that an Ouroboros, a special type of Aragami, had been eliminated.
I repeat, we can confirm an Ouroboros core has been detached.
Who could have done that, I wonder, as the camera slowly pans to Lindo. This is the first time we get hints on what Lindo was really up to. So, what was he up to? We'll get to that soon. Actually, it'll take a while before we get there, but it's a good way of foreshadowing the upcoming events. Yep, we're reminded of Eric again. Okay, let's move on. Next mission. Oh no, we were ambushed. Never mind, they're weak. Speaking of which, where's Soma?
Huh? Was there someone in there?
Great, even Soma's picking the chicks. What the hell, man? Jokes aside, Soma tells us that he felt someone's presence in the old city. We tell him yes, but it doesn't matter which one we choose because he'll say the same thing anyway. As always, we're off to our next mission, this time against a Chio. Okay, let's go. Wait, cutscene? Really? So we're introduced to Alyssa, the worst character in the game. For now. She gets character development later, but for now she's a bitch.
Yes, we always have room for another hottie.
Is he serious? The fact that you have survived long enough to become a god eater is astounding.
See what I mean? Yeah, I know she's hot, but you're not gonna feel that way later on. Trust me, you'll regret it.
Wow, Russia, huh? I hear it's really cold there. Like all the time. Snow's weird, right?
Yes, Koda, snow is cold, shut up. Okay, time to fight the Chio. Now I entered the mission with a greatsword thinking that it would deal a lot of damage to the enemy. And I was right, it did. But not how I expected. So the Chio moves really fast and it throws projectiles off it. It emits a damaging aura if we get too close and does this Kamehameha move if we're too far. The trick to this boss is to keep a proper distance so as not to be overwhelmed by its speed. It also guards using its wings, but if you manage to break those, it'll have no other choice but to fight head on. So surprisingly, the greatsword worked well against it. Who would have thought? After the mission, we get a lecture.
Yes, they make up Aragami and eat anything. And I mean anything. They eat life forms, flora and fauna, as well as synthetic creations, resins, plastics, for instance.
Well, this is boring.
Do you not understand how important this is?
Shut up, Alyssa. What I find interesting about this lecture of her is that it talks about the possibility of an Aragami capable of becoming human, which teases us of the real theme of the game.
It's not possible. Humans and Aragami cannot live together.
Fuck off, Alyssa. Let me fucking share my thoughts. This is Eric's sister. Oh, remember Eric? Yeah, he has a sister. Let's move on from that, okay? For the next mission, we're going with Alyssa and Lindo.
It isn't getting in the way. You should just stick to what old types do best. You are our support.
Oh, well then. I guess I'll do my best to live up to your high expectations of me.
Dude, that's sexual harassment. Or at least I think it is. It probably isn't. Whatever. This time, we fight not one, but 2 Chios. Wow, so creative. Now, this mission is supposedly where we'll learn how to issue commands to your teammates, but we're supposed to divide the team and fight them on different maps in order to not fight 2 at the same time, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm a pro, so I'll beat them at the same time. Plus, I have Canon on my team, who's objectively the best support teammate in the game. Pre-bitch Alyssa. But yeah, once we beat them, we go back to base and get another lecture.
Shortly after that, we discovered the first Aragami in earthworm form. Within 6 months, the first large-scale creatures appeared. A shame indeed that the Aragami are not as averse to study as it seems Kota is.
Dude, don't blame Kota. Most of this exposition is boring to begin with. Yeah, this is probably one of my gripes with the game's narrative. They paint the exposition as a lecture by Dr. Suck. And I mean, it's not a bad idea, it's just so redundant. But I can't really blame them. With world building this complicated, even I don't know how to intertwine with the plot. Shut up, Alyssa! Next mission, we're in San Francisco? That's cool, I guess. Just another small origami extermination, nothing big. But the next mission, oh boy, we're fighting Vajra. Before that though, let me present the cringiest compliment in the game. Okay, let's talk Vajra. So this large origami will fuck you up if you're the type of person who just rushes into battle without a strategy. It's very versatile, utilizing physical attacks and projectiles when the situation demands it. Its quick lunges can reach distances and hit really hard. And its plunging attack even more so. So good luck landing a charge attack on it. Now, the Vajra, being a lightning-based Aragami, launches balls of lightning through its mantle, sometimes one at a time, other times in a linear fashion. The linear ones are the easiest to dodge since it is stationary until launched. You can't really seal its abilities since its mantle is unbreakable. And the head and arms are also tough, so the safest spot to target is its backside. But like I said before, the Aragami is versatile, so hitting more than one is unlikely. Not to mention, it leaves lightning traps if you stay at one spot for too long. Best advice I can give when fighting the Vajra, don't approach its front when fighting. Just focus on the back and you'll be fine. Unless you're a great turret user, then you're totally fine. Once we beat the Vajra, we're treated to this cutscene. Wait, weren't we just fighting in that exact spot? They seriously had to reuse resources for this cutscene that could have worked on a different location. I don't know if this was laziness or the developers just didn't have enough resources for cutscenes. Actually, the whole cutscene is jarring because after that happens, you come back to base with everyone saying that Lindo's dead. Like, did I miss something? Maybe there was another cutscene that was cut off? Because, like, this part is just confusing. What's more confusing is that we just kind of do missions that have no relevance to the plot after this incident. After missions, we get cutscenes where characters talk about searching for Lindo, like,
please, Miss Amamiya, let us search for him. We can find Lindo, I'm sure of it.
No. Am I missing something? When did any of this happen? Was it before or after we beat the Vajra? Or did we skip a day? Or was there a deleted cutscene? I don't know. Not only that, but apparently Alyssa was admitted to the hospital. Yeah, this is a big plot hole. And yes, it's explained later on, but you can't just throw a curveball and expect the audience to just go with the flow. At least give us one cutscene showing us that Lindo's gone and Alyssa's in the hospital. Do the intercom thing. Just do the intercom thing. I don't know. Just do something. Anyway, one filler mission later, we find out that Alyssa is going through psychological breakdowns. And it's just... Here, listen to this.
The hell away! Leave me alone, please! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
Give her another tranquilizer and change the restraints.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Papa, Mommy, please. It's not what you think. It's not.
Alyssa.
Like, holy fuck. That is depressing. Like, I know I made fun of her before, but when you find out what she was actually going through, you just kind of feel bad. And this is why I said you'd regret lusting over her earlier in the video, because she's gone through shit.
Better you don't see her just now. Once the medication wears off, she tends to fall apart. Come back another day. She'll be better.
Now, remember this doctor, because he'll be relevant later on. By that, I mean by the next cutscene. One mission later, we get a cutscene where the same doctor tells us that Alyssa can't be woken up. Then we use the power of friendship, yes, this is our current theme in the game, to wake Alyssa up, and she wakes up. The doctor's surprised and runs out. Then it recreates an Evangelion scene. You know that scene. We're also given hints that the doctor is actually behind all this.
You're sure? Yes. As you wish. I'll leave it as you command for now.
Meh, never trusted him to begin with. Oh look, another filler mission. Sure, why not? Wait, another cutscene? And yeah, they're talking about Lindo again.
We haven't found his god arc. We haven't found his armlet. How could you say that?
It is not my decision to make, Miss Tachibana.
Remember earlier in the video when I said the game can be really hypocritical sometimes? Well, this is one of those times. The game expects us to care about a character who we've only known for a few hours, heck, even 30 minutes if you're that fast at playing the game. And yet characters like Eric are just forgotten casualties in its eyes. Earlier in the game, the characters tell us that God Eaters die every day, and we should move on from that. Then they break this idea when Lindo, a single God Eater, goes MIA. Tsubaki I get, cause Lindo's her little brother, but everyone else? Like, where's the sympathy for Eric? Does Eric not get the same sympathy? Well, to that, I plead justice for Eric! Enough about Lindo for now, let's focus on a more interesting scene. Alyssa's past. So apparently, Alyssa's parents were killed by Aragami while they were playing hide and seek. Okay, first of all, why would you play hide and seek outside when there's clearly Aragami lurking out and about? If anything, it's a parent's fault for even considering going outside to play hide and seek. Maybe there's a reason they had to go outside? I mean, they were researchers and all, but maybe, just maybe, they shouldn't play hide and seek. Just saying. It doesn't matter though, because shit gets even darker. After her parents' death, she was brainwashed to become a God Eater and kill Aragami as revenge for her parents and as her means of coping. And wouldn't you know it, she was also brainwashed to kill Lindo. Whoa, plot twist. On a serious note though, I can't help but sympathize for Alyssa. I mean, she watched her parents get eaten, remembering even the sounds of it as it chewed them apart. Like, that's fucking traumatizing. That's not something you can move on from. It's going to linger in your mind until you're mature enough to finally accept it. But Alyssa still wasn't mature enough to accept it, thus the constant shouting and flashbacks. It's here, however, that we finally see Alyssa change as a character, acting less than a bitch and more like a companion. It's just too bad that all that development happened during the scenes with the most hypocrisy. Also, this happens. And my character's a girl, so fuck. Enough of the plot for now, because it's time to fight the Borkamlan. Let's go. Wait, cutscene again? Give me a break.
Take some time off. This is not a request. I order you to do so. The others can handle this.
What? No, Tsubaki, I'm fine.
Looks like Saki is feeling stressed out. So she was given the time off. Good. Didn't need her anyway. Okay, let's fight Borg now. So Borkamlan is perhaps the toughest boss in the game. And I don't mean difficult, I mean its skin is made of tough armor that no weapon can do damage on it. Your weapons just bounce off if you hit the wrong spot. It has several spots, but what I recommend would be hitting its hind legs. But when it's in range, it also hardens, making weapons bounce off. It shoots these large metal needles through its tail and guards using its pincers. And it guards a lot, so a frontal attack is pointless. So how do we beat it? First, Bring any weapon with crush damage because pierce damage does nothing to it and sunder damage aren't good at breaking parts. We're taking a greatsword mostly because I'm more used to it than a hammer, and it's easier to stagger the board with it. Don't hit with aerial attacks because, again, most of its body is tough. Stagger it first by hitting its hind legs, then when it falls, do a charge attack until its shield, legs, or tail breaks. Once it breaks, that part becomes vulnerable for the entirety of the fight. So the strategy is basically stagger, charge, slash, break, rinse, and repeat. Its projectiles are really easy to dodge, but if you're scared of taking damage, then abuse the parry move. One thing to watch out for, however, is its tail swing, because it's really hard to predict and it has stupid range. You can dodge it, but I recommend just jumping over it. It's not a difficult fight, but it does take a while to beat. After that, we see Sakuya reminiscing about Lindo.
Hey, Sakuya, you in?
Dumbass, I've said it 100 times. At least pretend to knock before you barge in.
Yeah, really boring. Oh, what's this? Lindo left something? Here's the entire plot in a nutshell.
That day was already unnatural. Too many things were mixed up.
The mission he went to never existed. What's going on?
Lindo, what are you trying to tell me? What's happening?
Dude, this scene reminds me of that Kingdom Hearts scene with Mickey.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
Anyway, girl talk.
Please stay with her. She could use your support right now. Would you?
Okay, now I'm really regretting making a female character. Fuck. That's enough of that, cause we're fighting a quadriga now. Oh, fuck off, cutscene.
Thank you for coming to see me. What brings you here?
Whatever, so we got a whole shtick with Alyssa's trauma.
When my parents... Something inside me just snapped. I was hospitalized for years. For a long time, I only saw the world through a window.
Did someone turn off the lights? Cause this plot just got dark. And as we expected, the doctor was probably the one behind her brainwashing. Makes sense. After Sakuya got the info she needed, she promptly leaves and leaves us alone. Why did I choose a female character? This is so fucking awkward now. I mean, I don't hate it. I like Yuri. You know what? I'm getting sidetracked. So, the quadriga. Big tank that shoots missiles. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's clearly a combination of a tank and an elephant. There's not much to say about the design. The quadriga has the same shtick as the Borg, where hitting the face won't do anything. But unlike the Borg, this Aragami exposes its weak spot when it shoots missiles. It can also shoot missiles through the missile pod on its back. Yeah, this guy loves missiles. Also, it shares a move with Chios in which they emit an aura that damages the player when they get close. It seems intimidating at first because of its size, but trust me when I say it's stupid easy if you know where to hit. One of its weak spots is the missile pods on its back, so weapons that can do 2 to 3 aerial damage, i.e. knife, longsword, or spear, is enough to take it down. Another weakness is the crown, which is right beside the missile pods, which you can also break easily using aerial attacks. Beware of its backstep missile though, because the missiles that it shoots during the step will hit you regardless of your position in the air. This move is also really deceptive because you don't know if it'll do 1 backstep, 2 backsteps, or not do a backstep at all. If you're more of a grounded player, you can focus on its frontal armor until it breaks, and just focus on that for the entire hunt. So again, not a hard enemy, just really intimidating. Now we're back to base, and what's this? Alyssa's been discharged.
As of today, I've been reinstated. I promise I won't ever let something like that happen again.
Apparently, she can't go on missions yet. Understandable. She needs time to recover.
Did you hear about that new type chick? She's finally getting back to her unit. Jeez, way to ham it up.
The same idiot who left Lindo to die? Who leaves a comrade anywhere near one of those crazy new Vajra?
Shut up, NPCs.
Don't listen to that crap. They're just stupid.
Speak for yourself, Coda.
We've been seeing these weird Aragami pop up all over the place. Like there's a storm brewing. At least that's what I've been thinking.
Foreshadowing. Again. Wow, they're really pulling on the stops, huh?
I was hoping, maybe, if you have time, maybe, could you teach me again? I want to learn to fight the way I should have.
And with that, she's back to square one. So the next missions have purpose. Finally. We're going with Alyssa to help with her training as a renewed God Eater. The missions are your typical extermination ones, but this time, you're all alone with Alyssa. Unlike the previous Alyssa, this Alyssa focuses solely on supporting your character. What I do like about this part of the mission is that during your first outing, she literally does nothing. And it works in context because, again, she's a blank sheet right now. She's relearning everything from scratch, so instead of fighting the enemy, she lets you do all the work as if she's learning from your actions. Then when the second mission rolls around, she starts doing more, like healing you when you're almost out of health. I don't know how the developers did it, like having the NPC adapt to your fighting style and utilizing support skills as needed. Maybe there's like a code in the game that does that, I don't know, but this was a really cool feature that they added. It makes sense both plot-wise and gameplay-wise. Once you've completed all her requests, she gives you her shield, the Tear Stone. So this shield is a more inferior version of Alyssa's shield, but you can build it to be even better. Personally, I don't use it, but it was really cool for the game to give it to you anyway. Our next mission is a Vajra elimination, and the team decides that it wants Alyssa to be part of the mission. Coda agrees, and...
What say you?
I consent.
What was that pause? It reminds me of that awkward dialogue in The Last Airbender.
My son is this person the soldiers are calling the Blue Spirit.
Yes.
Anyway, she's part of the team now and ready to fight the monster that killed her parents. Or like a subspecies of it. We're fighting Vajra. Not much to say about this fight other than, holy shit, I reached level 3 burst for the first time. Fucking thank you, Alyssa. So here's an inconsistent cutscene. Even though we beat the Vajra, it's still somehow alive. So we try to beat it, then it runs away, and we try to flank it by splitting the team. Probably not a good idea to leave a traumatized soldier alone to fight the very thing she's traumatized of. She tries to shoot, but can't. The Vajra sees her, but won't do shit, because she looks puny, probably. Then we come to the fray, then the Vajra jumps at us, then Alyssa shoots, then Penny shot, and with that, she finally won against her trauma. Now, I really liked this scene, despite how cringy it is. It shows that even if she had faced off with her trauma and won, there's still these mixed up emotions that linger inside of her, and she just cries in place. This is how you present winning against trauma, not a fucking speech saying that you're not scared anymore. Unfortunately, this will be the only scene where we get serious themes. Everything after this, an exception for one other scene, is just power of friendship bullshit. What's Canon up to? A quadriga? Wait, we're doing this right now? Oh shit, I didn't have time to prepare. You know what, fuck it, let's do this.
Oh, okay. That's actually a pretty ridiculous thing to do, Aragami.
Thank goodness, we're finally done. Okay, time for girl talk again, I guess.
Sought him out. The last word I had put him heading north. Then the report came down. En route, he was attacked. Killed by an Aragami.
No.
I don't know what to say about this scene. It's just girl talk.
What?
Oh shit, she's gonna summon a demon! We're fighting Sariel. Sweet. Let's go. Cutscene, fuck.
Like this. I was marathoning some Booga Rally.
I don't know, Coda. Maybe if you asked a helpful question every once in a while, you'd get an answer.
Upon the completion of today's operation, you will be appointed as captain of the Far East Branch's 1st unit with full honors.
Wait, what? That's awesome!
Whoa, what? That's awesome!
Coda, stop repeating everything I say. For real though, this promotion came from out of nowhere. Feels kind of forced too. I mean, why assign a newcomer to become a captain? I thought it was just, I'm the main character, so I get everything, yay! There's actually a reason you were chosen. And you'll see what I mean later on, but just know that we weren't chosen because we were special.
Wow, Captain, huh? Weren't you my little student not too long ago?
And I'll be your master in bed. Why am I so bad at sex jokes? Whatever, let's fight the cereal. Oh no, a flying Aragami, how are we gonna fight it? Yeah, this enemy's a joke. It shoots projectiles, lots of it, and when approached, does this aura thing that hits hard but only damages you once. It also has a lunge attack, but it's choreographed so it's easy to dodge. Again, like the Quadriga, the Sariel looks intimidating, but it's airborne. But if you know where to hit, it goes down very quickly. Literally, all you have to do is aerial attacks and stay airborne for as long as possible to keep the momentum going. Like, what I do is hit jump, then hit it twice, then devour, and do that forever until it falls or moves away. If you're a grounded player, then yeah, you're gonna find it challenging. You probably won't fight this Aragami on the ground anyway, but yeah, it's a stupid easy boss. We return to the base and summoned by the director.
Allow me to commend you on your performance so far. Congratulations on your promotion.
What's with the foreboding background music? Did the game seriously just spoil the plot through its music? Whatever, so what does the director have to say?
You will be granted a number of bonuses. The first is private quarters, Lindos to be exact. Data that was previously heavily censored or off-limits will now be open to your perusal.
Okay, so Yuru and access to confidential information. That's nice. From here, we finally find out why Lindo was away all the time, because he had these special assignments given to him. I wonder what those assignments were. We'll find out soon, I suppose. Boring room, but okay. After a Vajra extermination with Alyssa, yeah, she's fully recovered now, we're good. We return to base and bump into Tsubaki.
Say, I can tell already. Your eyes give it away.
Touch me.
Got that same panicked look Lindo had.
Touch me harder.
The key to succeeding is rely on your allies.
Oh, so basically the power of friendship. Cool. Okay, time for a mission.
What up, Soma? Dude, I was totally thinking of having a little shindig to celebrate our new leader.
I never said anything about a party.
Go ahead and have your shindig. Just don't count on my RSVP.
For once, can you stop listening to Linkin Park?
You don't act all badass just because you're all badass and stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kota.
Who's there? Come on out and face me.
Someone's chasing after that girl again. Dude, read the room.
You found me, why don't you turn right around and go home? I've things to handle on my own.
I swear, this guy is an emo. Just missing his eyeliner and piercings.
You should go too. What do you need with a monster like me?
Monster? Who do you think you are, Johan? After the mission, we're summoned by the director again.
You have achieved incredible things during your tenure here.
Jeez, are you that desperate to get under my character's skirt?
Pardon me, I was expecting a visitor.
Oh man, more foreshadowing. We leave and meet Dr. Suck outside. He drops a disc, we grab it, fade to black.
Johannes, did I interrupt your search for another lapdog, or are they a hunting hound?
I simply have no idea.
What the fuck is with this background music? Is the game even trying to be subtle at this point? Like, now I know that either of them could be the villain.
You know how integral it is to my plan. Do not give up the good fight yet, Paler.
It's more tense now, what the fuck? So we take the disc that the doctor dropped and watched its contents. Admit it, you'll probably do the same thing. Long story short, Director, Doctor, and Rani from the Fate series are experimenting on the bias factor. What's the bias factor? Don't know, don't care. But they want to inject it on a human, so they use the director's child, aka Soma, as the test subject. Happy scene, sad scene, this scene. Yeah, it's really boring. Let's go on a mission. So now we're fighting our first variant monster, a fallen Congo. How is it different from a regular Congo? The color? That's it. Oh, it's weaker to fire, I guess. There's really no prevalent difference with its moves or attacks. It's Ice Congo, that's it.
Through my office. A core has been detected in the region formerly Britain.
Ah, yes. British Aragamis. Quite brutal, isn't it? So the singularity, a very important piece for the Aegis project, has been spotted somewhere and the director has to go there to confirm it. Oh, I forgot to explain the Aegis project. So it's like making a safe haven for humans away from Aragamis. It's actually visible from the background when you go on missions. Really cool detail. But yeah, director, go bye-bye for now. Okay, I swear, this girl is the only person who cares about Eric. Funny enough, she actually becomes a playable character in the second game, so good for her, I guess.
I can't wait for you to arrive.
A purpose, Soma. You have a purpose.
He can't be human.
Birthing imagery.
No!
Oh, it's a dream. Figures.
That's weird. Where's your trademark Soma disdain?
What? Just shut the hell up, Fujiki.
Okay, he's not emo, just a tsundere. Oh, right, we gotta return the disc to Dr. Suck.
Needless to ask, you didn't watch it, did you? No, of course not. Merely old men.
Yeah, I watch it. What are you gonna do, bitch?
No one need.
Holy shit, did you just teleport in front of me?
To be fair, I've assigned the task to Soma as well. Good kid, Soma.
Dude, personal space.
I was hoping, in fact, I would be in your debt, if you could reach out to him.
Okay, just give me some space. It's at this point in the game that the game throws you difficult missions, like having to fight both a Borg and a Vajra at the same time, and they deal more damage than before. Don't know why they hit hard, they just kind of do.
Greetings! So sorry to keep summoning you in. I have a certain special favor to ask of you today.
Dude, we've talked about this. Space.
The time grows late and shadows fall. I must prepare to receive my guests.
What is with this cryptic monologue? So we beat a Chio, and as we're about to devour it, Dr. Suck comes out of nowhere and tells us to leave the corpse for now. And so we do.
A few moments later.
Symbolism. You'll know what I mean later on. So, we corner this stranger and...
Hungry.
I'd love to explain what's going on in this scene, but it'll be explained in the next cutscene, so let's just jump into the next cutscene, shall we?
What? Did you just say what I think you just said you said?
I can say it again, but I assure you, it will be no different. This is an Aragami.
Yep, here comes the true conflict of the story. A human-type Aragami.
We refer to it as their bias. You follow?
It's an Aragami's coding. Their predatory nature.
There. She explained bias factor. Happy? Now this is the section of the game that I really like, plot-wise, because this is when we find out the true connection between humans and Aragami. It's a bit poetic, so hear me out. Okay, so Aragami roughly translates to wild god. The Aragami eat other life forms in order to change and grow even more powerful. And because they are unstoppable forces akin to gods, no human can go against them. That's when God Eaters come in. Humans with the ability to fend off these gods. So the real conflict of this narrative is this.
Will the god win out over the human? or will the human succeed and take the place of the god?
Yep, this is the whole theme of the story. God versus man. Later on, we'll find out that God Eaters were made by injecting Aragami cells into humans. Sound familiar? Because that's like every demigod epic ever. Like, Zeus is horny all the time, can't keep his boner in. Bet he can't survive No Nut November. Just saying. So I guess we can say God Eaters are like demigods, whose job is to bring down the gods themselves. But what happens when these demigods, or man in general, become an unstoppable force themselves, become a god themselves? We're introduced to this conflict again. At which point does the man become a god? And at which point does the god become a man? When does prey become the predator? Among man and god, who is the real monster? And this thing...
Shio. Yes.
Okay, Shio, that's your name now. Shio is the overlying factor in this conflict. An Aragami turned human. A god turned man. She completely destroys the balance, but does that mean she shouldn't exist? This ideology is deep, I know, but it gets even deeper as the plot continues. Yeah, too much to take in, I know. Let's just take a break from that. I guess I should talk about the Yaksha and Yaksha-Raha while we're here. So, these two Aragami don't show up in the first game or in Burst. It makes its debut in Resurrection. Well, technically God Eater 2, but if we're going in chronological order, then Resurrection would be the first game to introduce them. The Yaksha is a medium-sized Aragami. It's like a hollow that has a cannon for a hand. It's a really easy boss. Literally every part of its body is vulnerable. Won't take 5 minutes to beat. Then there's the Yaksha-Raha, a Yaksha with 4 arms. It has more movesets like a plunging attack followed by cannon shots, a railgun that looks really cool to be honest, and slash attack similar to a Chio's. Like the Yaksha, however, every part of its body is vulnerable, so it's not really as tough as you'd think.
World's kinda sorry now, isn't it? I mean, it's so dark.
Okay, so this dialogue is so relevant to current times with the pandemic and all. Like, this dialogue was ahead of its time.
I've been marathoning this one called Booger Rally. It's like the best show!
Oh, and they had Netflix too. Watching this back then wouldn't faze me in the slightest, but with all that's happening in the world today, this could not be any more accurate. And I'm just glad I was able to revisit this game again, because I wouldn't have found this dialogue otherwise.
But it's not like we can see the future. They sure as heck couldn't. There's no one to blame for the world we have now.
Anyway, time for a mission. 4 Congos at the same time. Fuck! The game doesn't really give you any praise.
Yes, told ya!
Of course you'd teach her to talk that way. It's positively vulgar.
What?
I guess they're teaching her to be a cowboy?
That's a nice thing, right? When she says, "Good job, Shio."
Yeah, I should probably change. This costume's ruining the mood. So after getting along with Shio, we finally get to bring her on missions. Well, to her, it's dinner, and to Dr. Suck, it's a date.
Doctor, what's a date mean?
It's a joyous occasion for all.
Sounds delicious.
Does this count as bestiality? I don't know if it's bestiality, but hey, we get to fight with Shio now, so... Not much to say about her fighting style though. I mean, she likes to devour and share burst link with other allies. If you want a support character that constantly gives you burst links, then Shio's the teammate for you.
Let's see. It's time to eat. Oh, wait. Soma, you wanna come eat too?
Oh, she's gonna spill the beans.
Soma's Aragami says he's hungry and he wants to eat.
What the?
Shut up! I'm not a monster!
Didn't you just say you were a monster a while ago? Make up your mind. Are you emo or not? So, we tell Kora the whole shtick with Soma.
I guess that makes him the original God Eater, huh? The basis of all this, of God arcs, and... Wow!
Original God Eater? That never occurred to me. Technically, he actually is the first God Eater. Like, wow, I never realized that. I've played all 3 games and never realized that. I'm dumb, sorry. After the mission, we return to Dr. Suck. Okay, I'll stop now.
She's finding the uniqueness between people. Race, gender, personality, body type. She's piqued by diversity, I believe.
Holy fuck, she's an SJW.
Would you mind helping to dress Shio?
So now we gotta dress her.
So then why the hell did you summon me? Damn you, old man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be next to useless.
Oh, stupid boys.
Hey, I'm a boy. Oh, wait, I'm using a female avatar.
Why are you gay?
So adaptable, so diverse. It might go a long way in securing a bright new future for humanity.
Or she'll start cancel culture, who knows?
Crashed through the wall and fled?
See, this is the effect of cancel culture. Well, she ran away. Time to find her, I guess. Here's another cutscene that I liked. So, we see Soma open up to Shio, telling her that he knows what it must be like to be what they are. Yes, Soma's half Aragami, but it doesn't mean he's not capable of human thoughts. So, he feels lost, too.
So Soma and I are the same.
Only because we're stuck and lost.
Then let's go find ourselves.
Shio feels the same, and that's where they start building a connection. Shippers be wilding, though. Back in the lab, Dr. Suck tells us that he needs materials for Shio's clothes. We give it to him and...
Oh my god, it's like the cutest thing I've ever seen, ever!
I thought so. Just like a little girl, huh?
Wait, she's a lolly? Well, fuck.
That's really something else. Looks amazing, right, Soma?
Yeah, I guess it's cute.
Soma Tsundere confirmed. And probably a pedo, who knows?
La, la, la,
This is just weird. I don't understand games that try to show characters singing a choir song. Like, it's obviously not them who's singing, so why bother adding it? I don't know, but it's a staple in RPGs, and I guess it's here to stay.
Did you learn that? It was so beautiful.
Soma and I heard it together.
You did what?
Well then, my, Soma.
The ship has sailed. I repeat, the ship has sailed. The director has called for us again. Yep, he back now.
Left, concerning special missions and tasks.
Okay, so we're officially starting special missions, and get a taste of what Lindo's been doing behind the team's back.
We'll only say this once. Don't trust him. He pulls strings you can't even imagine.
I know. The background music was enough to tell me that. So our first mission is slaying the Ouroboros, the largest Aragami in the game. And unlike the Quadriga or Sariel, you have a reason to be scared of it. Not only does it have a scary background music,
This is the perfect opportunity!
it's big,
humongous hungalonga no no logongas,
has high HP, and hits hard. Heck, it hits a player just by walking. It's that dangerous. Its backside is resistant to hits, so backstabbing won't work. It shoots projectiles, but don't rely on those too much. Its preferred moves are with its tentacle arm thingy. So the Ouroboros can dig its arms on the ground and summon drills and flashes of bright light capable of blinding the player. And the stomps, oh my god, the stomps. It is brutal. This is probably the legitimate time to use aerial attacks because grounded attacks will get you killed. Heck, even with aerial attacks, it has this move where it flings its arms around to flick away any nuisance. In terms of weak spots, the arms are weak against pierce and slash attacks, and the head is weak to crush attacks. The most important thing to note during this combat is do not stay in one spot for too long. Deal like 2 or 3 hits, then get the hell away from it. I recommend equipping Devour skills that let you do a backstep after devouring. This is perhaps the longest non-story boss I've ever done. In terms of difficulty and size, the Ouroboros is a force to be reckoned with. After that, we get news that Lindo's god art had been tracked.
Could still be some kind of mistake, but there is a good chance you will face Lindo's killer.
Time to get revenge for a character we've only known for 30 minutes. Let's go! Yeah, one tough boss after another. We're fighting Prithvi Mata, an ice variant of Vajra. It's also called the Queen of Aragamis, but as stated before, the Aragami don't have genders, so I don't know how they came up with that. Maybe it's similar to how they thought Shio was a girl, I don't know. Anyway, Prithvi Mata. I like to say that it's just a Vajra with ice powers, but that's not really the case. Sure, its moveset is pretty much just Vajras but with ice, but its weakness is more akin to Borg, wherein it hardens its whole body when enraged. Or at least that's what Hibari says. I don't really see the difference, to be honest. Because I broke the parts beforehand. Yeah, smart move, I guess. But other than that, yeah, it's just an ice Vajra. I guess the only advice I can give is, I don't know, bring a fire weapon. If you can beat the Vajra, you can beat the Prithvi Mata. After we beat this bitch, we devour it only to find that Lindo's God Arc wasn't there. What was that? Let's go search for it, cause we're idiots, I don't know. This Aragami fucking scares me. In burst, it isn't that scary, but in resurrection? You know what, we'll get there. Just know that this isn't the Emperor you thought you knew.
In that moment, when he was facing death, and chose to fight even though he knew there was no way.
Girl talk again, I guess. Wow, this game really likes its girl talks.
It's been happening too much. Aragami keep breaking through the wall.
It's because there have been so many changes to the Aragami in the last few months.
So this part of the plot is... Well, it's not filler because it has something to do with Koda's character development, but it sure feels like filler. Basically, the wall surrounding the city is breaking down and we have to collect Aragami cores to enforce it. It's like 3 to 4 missions, not much, sure, but the whole thing feels like a placeholder for telling us that Koda's from the outer ghetto and the reason he became a God Eater is to protect his family. I'm not really angry at Koda's character arc per se, I'm just angry at the fact that they made his arc feel like a filler arc. If the missions were made to, say, fend off the Aragami surrounding the outer ghetto, then I'd understand why the missions are so vital. But no, we had to do a fucking fetch quest. Forget it, small nitpick, I know, but this video is a retrospective, so... Fuck, we're fighting the Emperor, fuck.
We are now certain that Lindo's armlet is sending out signals.
Okay, so this mission is unforgiving. Before you fight Deo Pita, you first have to fight the Prithvi Mata. And you gotta defeat it within 2 minutes, or else you'll have to fight both the Prithvi and the Deus at the same time. And trust me, you do not want that. But that's pretty much impossible unless you do the mission with a fully modified weapon, so don't expect to defeat the Prithvi in 2 minutes. Yeah, we're fighting them at the same time. I already talked about Prithvi Mata, so let's talk about the Emperor himself, Deo Pita. So this Aragami is mainly a lightning-based Aragami like the Vajra, but acts like an enraged Vajra for the entire hunt. It emits a lightning aura everywhere, jumps constantly, and I mean constantly. Shoots projectiles that is guaranteed to hit you, then repeats it, then runs towards you. But the scariest part, and this is something that wasn't in the burst version, is its transition to its second phase. Yes, it has a second phase. It grows wings that it uses to attack, and it is brutal. Its 3-way plunge will butcher your whole team. Heck, even its normal plunge hits hard, so you better get used to giving your teammates link bursts. Not to mention, its lightning auras are bigger, stronger, and longer, so you should watch out for those. Its linear projectiles are now homing missiles, if you thought it wasn't hard enough. To top it all off, it has this horizontal spinning attack that will put you at half-life or lower if you miss to dodge or guard. And believe me, you will miss. Just remember to keep your distance when doing damage, or if you're scared of dying, use your gun and replenish with ampule. Seriously though, do not underestimate this Aragami. It fucks hard. After we receive our well-deserved victory, we devour the Deus and find Lindo's armlet.
Armlet. No. Lindo, no.
Yeah, he dead. For now. But they don't know that. So we bring it back to base and analyze it with Sakuya and Alyssa. I don't want to go into full detail of what we found. Let's just say there's more to the Aegis project than meets the eye. So Sakuya volunteers to investigate the whole situation by going to Aegis Island herself. Alyssa wants to come with, but I don't want to lose a good support teammate, so fuck that. While we're here, let's look through everyone's rooms. This was a bad idea. Let's just go on a mission. We're fighting Lightning Monkey with Shio.
Monkey.
It's really something.
Looks like a big boob.
Shio, are you alright? Shio! What is that?
Holy shit, she's a vampire. An SJW vampire. Anyway, Shio disappears after watching X-Arm, like most people, and now we gotta find her. Again. Yeah, she disappears a lot, that's kinda her thing. As we're about to look for her, however, the director calls for us again.
I have another assignment here that I mean for you. A unique Aragami was detected off the coast of Aegis Island.
Ooh, a unique Aragami. Who could that be? It's Shio. It's obviously Shio. So we look for Shio in San Francisco, where we last saw her.
All my life, I've let him send me on these missions. Search and destroy. Hunt and kill. But there is no way in hell that I will hand Shio over to that bastard.
Cool, someone gets character development. Cheesy, but character development nonetheless.
I've seen this angle before. The first time we met, I drew my blade on you.
Dude, I love when they do this in games and movies, this act of deja vu, but everything feels way different now. It shows us just how far we've come with the characters we've been traveling with. So we find her singing on top of a building. I think I've gone deaf. So the song is about parting, and it's connected to Soma and Shio's recollection. By searching for Shio, Soma found out that he isn't alone. He found someone who feels what he does. The same can be said for Shio. By Soma searching and finding her, she found her sense of belonging. They no longer need to look for what they've lost because they've already found it, together. Yes, it's cringy, but they were once heartless monsters until they met each other, so I'd say this makes sense in context. Then Shio sparkles again.
What the hell is going on? Shio!
What's next? Is Soma gonna take off his shirt and turn into a werewolf? I've been reading too many YA novels. Meanwhile, Sakuya successfully sneaks into Aegis Island, and as you'd expect, it's not a safe haven like the director describes it to be. Speaking of director...
So tell me, what do you think? Are you crushed that it's nothing like the paradise you were sold?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother explaining his evil speech. It really just boils down to save the rich, kill the poor, make new humanity, new world order. Yeah, it's as generic as it can get, and I am completely disappointed that it took its route. They could have made him a more compelling villain by, I don't know, saving humanity from Aragami by sacrificing the God Eaters themselves to bring extinction to the Aragami. That way, the main characters can learn that no one has to be sacrificed in order to save humanity, and they can fight to protect the peace until they die, cause that's what God Eaters do. Also, did no one else think that maybe there's something fishy with the government wanting to make the island free of Aragami when we clearly don't know that the walls were already weak enough as they are? Like, who passed the bill and said, oh yes, this is totally not a corrupt project that will kill millions in favor of a few select individuals? Also, how the hell would he know that his plan will work anyway? Like, what if the plan backfires and instead of Aragami extinction that director claims it would do, it will lead to human extinction? Like, it's this kind of writing that really pisses me off. Like, you already have the theme of God versus man, yet still ponder on humanity's moral dilemmas. And yeah, I get it. He's acting like a god who has full control over man. But what about the Aragami themselves? Do they not get a say in this? Like, Shio acts more like a MacGuffin in the conflict than the plot clearly wanted her to be. The latter two acts make full use of it, even if it didn't go over the rails, so I don't know what exactly happened here. Maybe they thought that the next acts would carry the idea forward, which they did, but this current act's conflict is so lackluster. Not to mention, it's one against the power of friendship, so what does this tell us? That the conflict between God and man can be solved with the friends we made along the way? They probably just didn't want to get too deep into the ideology, so they just went with a more simple solution. I know, I'm reading too much into this, but with games like Nier and Persona delving deep into their respective ideologies without chickening out halfway through, this is just inexcusable. But I'm just a guy on the internet, so what do I know? That rant tore me out. Let's watch a cutscene.
Terrible scream. It charges at me.
Oh my god!
I dive out of the way, pull my god arc out, and BAM! Save the day.
Cute. More fetch quests. Fuck you, game. This is like a third time now. How many times do we have to do this? And I have to fight the Emperor again. Fuck you, game.
I can still fight. Alpha 1 has been rendered unconscious.
There you go. Happy?
Now then, is that Shio speaking to me? Am I talking to a god? She who will devour the stars?
Do stars taste any good?
From SJW to straight up Agumon. I swear, this girl changes personalities faster than people make Genshin Impact fan art.
I need to devour.
Quick, give her a bucket of totally not KFC. So there's this conflict inside Shio. One side is the Singularity, aka the Aragami / MacGuffin, and the other is her humanity. The director wants a Singularity because bad guy plan, I don't know. So we gotta keep him away from Shio. I mean her. So Aragami. Aragamis don't have genders. Anyway.
Damn it, what was that?
Worry not. The backup generator should kick into motion at any moment.
The director's so corrupt. He can't even pay for electric bill.
Moments ago, Fenrir's Far East branch came under assault from an unidentified Aragami.
Wait, what? What? Just like that? What kind of bullshit is this?
Sakaki, I finally got through. What's going on over there?
Sorry, I'm getting a host of static on my end.
So the director doesn't pay for electrical bill and phone bill. Not only is he a villain, he is also a cheapskate.
The first unit is...
Doc? Doc! Damn it!
So we were caught off screen. Guess the game didn't have any resources to actually show that. Whatever, it gives Coda more character development, I guess. Wait, I thought we were captured. Why are we still here?
They took Shio, didn't they?
I thought you guys were on the run.
Wait, aren't they fugitives? How were they able to get inside the HQ? I'm beginning to think that what Alyssa said in the beginning was true.
There's no other way in.
I think there might be. I'm not so sure.
So the gang's back together and we're off to fight the big baddie.
We have to find a way.
Just don't. I'm not here to arrest you. Who do you think I am?
I think you're a big booby ara one-chan.
How did you know there was a path down here, Coda?
Back when I thought they were building an underground residential section, I tried to sneak a peek. The doc told us in class that they were using this big old factory as a staging area for the Aegis.
Turns out Coda's smarter than we thought. Okay, time for the final battle. I still don't know why we're fighting in the first place, but I guess we are now.
This place is...
Holy crap, it's huge!
The road. Treacherous. The road we have taken to come here.
This goes on for 5 minutes. I'm not even joking. He keeps saying that Dr. Suck is a romantic, but with a speech so cheesy, maybe the director is actually the real romantic. Here's another gripe I have with this bad guy speech. The game says all these highfalutin words that don't really mean much when you actually think about it. It sounds like they're making the characters like the director act smart, but not to show for it. Look, just because someone is doing a speech doesn't mean they're saying something influential. Most of it is gibberish. Like, the game talks smart, but it doesn't show it. He tells us how this world needs to be reborn, but he's also the one of the people who destroyed the world in the first place. Like, be a man and take responsibility, asshole. I think this is where show
don't tell should come into the argument, but who am I kidding? This is a game where teenagers in revealing clothes wield huge-ass swords to fight what are basically aliens.
Are you watching us, Lindo? We made it all this way because of you. We won't give in now.
I'll have to fight for it. I'll have to make it myself.
Even I can fight.
Yeah, power of friendship. God, I'm tired of this trope.
Sentimental speeches are all well and good, but we're a little short on time right now.
Thank you, Soma. Now let's go fight the big baddie. So the Ardanova, the final boss. And because it's the final boss, it has to be the hardest enemy in the game, right? Yeah, this is pathetic. I mean, it might be hard if you're a grounded player, but since its weakness is literally bigger than its whole body. Yes, this monster at the back is the weak spot. You can just keep hitting it until it's in rage. Then you move forward and hit the ground and wait until it falls. I mean, it shoots projectiles, but since you're too busy hitting its backside, it won't really bother homing onto the player. It has other moves like a plunge attack that you can jump over, or a laser attack that you can dodge simply by standing on top of it, or this spider move thing that rarely hits the player, and leaving bombs on its path that you can just ignore. I mean, the monster is science cool, I guess. It's like fighting two beings as one Aragami at the same time. It's a cool concept. Reminds me of that Ornstein fight in Dark Souls. But this boss is so easy, I didn't even die once. I mean, it's a long fight, taking over 10 minutes to beat, but a huge health full is all the difficulty you get from this boss. Very pathetic for a final boss. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, we beat it, but it turns out we were too late and the world's gonna end anyway.
Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
Take your comrade to the Ark. Please.
Oh, now the director is a good guy. I don't care about this narrative anymore. So Shio gets control of the Nova thingy and wants to bring it to the moon. Ha 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 ha, Kaguya folklore reference. Nice. Can't get any more Japanese than that,
What you taught me makes so much sense. To be together with someone, to live for someone, to die for someone, to forgive someone.
Thanks for summarizing everyone's character arc, I guess. For real though, this part is really sad because unlike Lindo, who we only know because of what other people told us about him, we spend more time learning and playing with Shio. This is how you do a farewell, not an incomplete cutscene. Now I'd like to talk about the ending scene, but that shit's copyright. But trust me when I say it's emotional as fuck. And just like Kaguya, Shio returned to the bright night sky.
The Nova was taken away. She saved our world. From the moon, she gazes and smiles, watching as we wander and survive upon this earth, our home.
And that, my friends, is the conclusion of God Eater. Act 1. There's still 2 more acts. We're not even halfway done. Yeah, it's a long narrative and you're probably tired of me talking about the plot, so let's talk about something else before we proceed to Act 2.
Part 7. Small locations. Let's look at the setting, the background, the world infested by Aragami. Let's start with the hub. This is a very deceiving hub. During your first time exploring the HQ, you get excited that you roam around, talk to other characters, and opening different rooms. Then, after a few missions, you kind of get bored of it. Like, the elevator lets you move to different parts of the HQ, but every floor has the same layout that it tricks you into thinking that it's bigger than it actually is. Even the rooms look the same, for fuck's sake. The longer you play, the more you feel claustrophobic staying inside this hub. It restricts the player to move in different parts of the HQ. Heck, you can't even move the camera. You feel trapped inside. And I think that's the point. I mean, there are Aragamis outside, so those inside the HQ feel safe. But at the same time, they can't do as they please because of the current situation. I want to say that it reflects the game's atmosphere well, if it weren't for this background music. I mean, I love this track. It's the game's national anthem, basically. But playing this track in a dystopic world leads to dissonance in atmosphere. I'll talk about this track later on in depth in this video, but the point I'm trying to make is you can't put ham in between a pair of jeans and call it a sandwich.
What?
In this case, you can't put a marching song in a game about isolation and survival. Well, you can, and it's this game, but you get the point. Let's move on to the city ruins. Now, this is the first map we're thrown into, and I'm glad it was. This shows us the devastation that the Aragami truly inflicted in modern society. Large buildings eradicated with holes, ghetto houses attached to frail walls, and a church that stands upright despite all the destruction. And I love this detail because it's super accurate to real life, at least from what I've read in history and such. So, back in World War II, the Japanese attacked our city, and the cathedral was one of the safe havens at the time. It was never bombed, so a lot of citizens took refuge inside of, well, near its vicinity, basically. And you can see this reflected in the game, wherein ghetto houses are near the cathedral, and the church is still standing strong. It's a testament of man's faith, or at least its capability of faith, is what I'm trying to say here. Next would be the Snow Temple. It's inspired by the Himalayan temples mixed in with Japanese architecture. This map is structured like a 4-floor tower, with the first floor being the player spawn area and the second and third being the enemy spawn area. There are spots that can be used to do ambushes and surprise attacks, but can also be spots for enemy sneak attacks. Overall, not a bad map. It does its job, unlike the next map. So, yeah. This vortex thingy place. It's a location surrounded, or should I say consumed, by whirlwind. The walls are made of twisted roots that circle around the map, with a few skyscrapers and an overpass lying around. The background music is perfect for this map, serene, calm, yet carries a sense of dread and hopelessness. Too bad it's one of the laziest maps in the game. It's just a donut. You just kind of go around. There's really not much to explore, which is a shame because I kind of like everything about this map. Maybe if they added more obstacles, it would make the map more palpable, but other than the technicalities, the map ain't bad. It's not really that bad. But compared to the next one, oh my gosh. So San Francisco. It's not actually San Francisco. It might as well be, because this map sucks ass. It's a straight line, literally just a straight line. From the spawn point to the end of the map, that's it. That's all you get. I mean, I like the background, but the background's not where we're gonna fight Aragami, now is it? This is the worst map of the game. Let's just move on. This Inferno place. This was one of the worst maps in the game before Resurrection, because there were locations that were completely blocked off, so you had to go around the map. And it was really annoying since the Aragami had access to those block areas and often camped there, leaving you no options to attack it. But thankfully, it's been fixed in Resurrection, and it further improved the structure of the map. The theme of the map is pretty cool though, like a highway to hell, but instead of a highway, it's on railroads. There's a blockade to the exit, tracks surrounded by lava, and this gross location that kind of reminds me of Silent Hill. Best place to learn how commands work, in my opinion. Okay, Sunken Grid. This is one of the most balanced maps in the game. Like the Vortex City thingy, it's a circular map, but the difference, and it's a huge difference, is its connecting route at the center. Now this part is a lifesaver, especially when you're fighting two enemies at once and want to keep track on both without circling around the map. This map also makes sense ecologically speaking, because the Sunken Grid is a water-based location, then fauna could easily grow on it, giving us this jungle type of atmosphere. I also like the amount of detail that I placed on this map. Like, if you look up on the structures, you can see rusty electric poles and drums. You won't even notice them when you play, but they still added that detail. Like, overall, it's a pretty tight map. Lastly, there's the Aegis map, which is a Colosseum-type location. Not much to say about this map, I mean, it does its job. It contents the player and the Aragami without distractions or territorial advantages. No item placements, no high ground, just you and the Aragami. There's also another map during the final parts of the game, but you only get to fight there for one specific mission, so you won't have to come back there again. So yeah, it's not worth talking about. Nice addition though. Of course, any of these would have made great maps as a game overall if it weren't for the inconsistencies in structure sizes. And it's not just in this map, it's in every map. Some buildings are so small that it's hilariously as tall as the player. Like, who even lives here? Hobbits? Or are God Eaters really that tall? Or did humanity grow taller? I don't know. Like, here's a skyscraper, and here's the entrance. I can literally just jump up the second floor.
What?
And how can anyone fit inside of these vehicles?
What?
This temple has a small ass door, but when you get to the altar on top of the map, suddenly it's big enough to fit an Aragami. What? I really don't get the inconsistent sizes in this game. They tried being realistic and it failed. But despite this fuck up, it still helped build the atmosphere that the game wanted the player to feel. Not a good rendition, but at least they tried. Also, item places are kind of weird. I mean, it makes sense gameplay-wise since it gives an estimate on how far enemy resting spots are to one another, but the positions at what they're placed don't make sense sometimes. Like, there's an item here, cause why not? An item here, cause why not? It's just next to this item, it's weird. These spots don't feel like places where items would spawn, it's just placed there randomly, I guess. I mean, not all placements are like this, but those that are really break the experience of those dependent on the game's realism. But the fact that the game didn't even try to conceal the items and just place them on the ground is just so lazy. Thankfully, they fixed this in the third game, but this isn't the third game, so they don't have a good excuse for this game. Despite that, however, the fact that the whole map loads is a game changer on its own. Most games divide their maps to different locations, making them more like small locations than one huge map, so I gotta give credit to the developers for pulling that off. Okay, break time's over, time to go back to the plot. Part 10. Oh yeah, give me more plot. Another spoiler alert. After the whole Aegis debacle, the HQ experiences temporary peace. Well, there are still Aragami running out and about, but at least there's no more generic anime villain. The plot now focuses on the effects of the Aegis project's failure and unique Aragami suddenly appearing because of the Novus remnants. You know what that means. Filler missions. New God Eaters will be stationed, Dr. Suck becomes Director Suck, and this.
The world changed. All the Nova awoke and tried to bring ruin upon this earth. Hannes von Schicksal, once director of Fenrir's Far East branch, was caught in the destruction.
There you go, the prologue of Act 2. So apparently our God Arc hasn't been in good condition ever since the Nova fight, but we're still using it on missions, so I don't know what the point of this conflict is. Maybe they need to add attention, I don't know. But apparently there's this immortal Aragami called the Hannibal that's been unstoppable for the longest time now, and we have to find it and take its core. But since it's been hyped up as a strong boss, there's no way we're gonna fight it early on. Oh shit, we're gonna fight the Hannibal right off the bat. Fuck me. So the Hannibal is a serpent-like fire-based Aragami. And it's a Tigrex of God Eater. If you know the Tigrex, then you know how brutal those monsters can get. And this game cranked its difficulty up to 11. It can summon a fire spear and uses it for a plunge attack, has a shield in its right arm that it uses to brush off enemies, a homing fire projectile that hits hard, and a running attack similar to a Tigrex. And if that weren't enough, it also has a second phase, triggered when you break its back scales. It can do this flaming Super Saiyan move that emits tornado flames, summon flames from the player's feet, a fire breath cause why the fuck not, and a dual blade attack that must be interrupted as soon as possible. It's crazy fast, so you have to keep moving. If you stop moving even for a second, you're dead. Remember to keep your finger on the shield button because some of its moves are hard to dodge, like these flame tornadoes. And watch out for its flame spear. It can hit the player without realizing. And as cringy as it sounds, rely on your teammates. By that, I mean have them get the Hannibal's aggro because you don't want to face this beast head on. I recommend not breaking its back scales if possible because doing so will trigger the second phase. Break the bond only when it's near death. If you're still having trouble, use your gun and drink ampules to replenish your OP. Most importantly, don't forget to heal. It doesn't matter if you have a long health bar, you'll lose half of it if you're careless. And again, this is important, move, move, move. It's an intimidating boss, so be fully prepared before facing it. After that, we poke it.
Stop poking it, Coda.
Yeah, stop poking it. Okay, that was cringy.
Hey, hold up! I wasn't done poking it yet.
Can you stop with the poking already?
You... No! Look out behind you!
The hell?
Surprise! It's still alive. We block its attack and... Well, fuck. We wake up in the infirmary surrounded by our teammates.
It's about time you got up. I knew you'd survive.
Aw, he's still at Tsundere.
Sorry, just one quick second. Coda, wake up now!
Apparently our god art was busted, so we're out of commission for now.
Hey, since this is my bad, I'll lend you all of Booger Rally. The first season is rushed, but man, it gets so good!
Okay, so Black Clover, gotcha. Well, there you go. Time for another panty shot, I guess.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
Not much to do but talk to NPCs. Wait, Electra again? Oh no. So an Aragami has breached the HQ. I don't know how, but it did. And because we're the only one in HQ right now, we go there ourselves and fight the damn thing.
What are you doing here? You have to evacuate. Come on. As soon as I lock these up, we're getting out of here.
There's no point in doing that. Aragami can't use it anyway.
Stop! No! You can't! I can't handle a foreign god art! They'll turn the oracle cells and devour you!
Thanks for the exposition. Now run away before... Told you. So we take Lindo's god art and fight the Aragami with it. Then this happens. Hey, look at that. Our character's talking in the cutscene. Well, it's shouting, but it's something. Then we're saved by this Shota. First a lolly, now a Shota. Do they really have to check every trope on the list? We wake up in the infirmary. Again. This game keeps reminding me that I should have chosen a male character. Well, joke's on you, I like Yuri.
Lika really is something, isn't she? She's nice, gentle. She really knows how god arcs work.
I want to put a dirty joke here, but I couldn't think of anything, so here's an unrelated meme.
I'm a new god eater, only recently transferred. I serve with the medical unit. Call me Ren. A pleasure.
Okay, so Ren is the most confusing character in the game. More confusing than the whole plot of Kingdom Hearts. But more on him later. Stop looking at my panties. Fucking perv. Okay, we're discharged. Let's fight a douchebag. Yes, I know it's called Deus Phage, but I like douchebag better. Plot. More plot. You know what time it is? That's right, filler missions. So the side characters get their own respective missions now, and I don't really care for any of them, especially since we'll rarely be seeing them in the main plot anyway. But it's kind of funny to find out how much of a simp Tatsumi is.
Hey, Hibari, how about dinner?
Oh, we do like to have fun. Recovery is en route.
But I wasn't joking.
Drink? What drink? What's everyone talking about?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay, I knew this game was horny, but I did not think it was that horny. Then we fight the Ardanova again, because fuck you, that's why. So the new recruits have arrived. One is waifu material, one is... and...
Being our very first...
Wait, you're not gonna introduce Ren? That's kinda sus, bro. After that, we find Ren downstairs looking at Lindo's God Arc, and...
My thanks. This is the drink that everyone speaks well of? First love juice or something?
Oh no, please, please don't do this.
This is... I mean, I certainly didn't... It's delicious!
I can't just... This is just... Wow, this game is super horny. So Ren knew who Lindo was. Interesting. Then we accidentally use the power of friendship, I hate when you do that, and get a flashback. Okay, remember this missing cutscene that I mentioned during the first act? Well, here it is. Why did they put it here of all times? Like, why not put it earlier on? The plot makes sense now, but it's kind of too late for that. I don't care about Lindo anymore, but now the game expects us to care about him again. Like, I don't know who was in charge of cutscene arrangement, but they fucked up. They fucked up real bad. So I found out that in the game's archives they did have this cutscene, and it played after that jarring cutscene I mentioned before, so that was entirely my bad. But for some reason, I'm kinda glad I didn't see this cutscene because it's fucking stupid. So what happened is that Lindo and Alyssa were also fighting on the same location that we were in. Then we bumped into them near the church entrance. We helped them finish their mission when all of a sudden Aragami starts infesting the whole church. We try to fend him off while Lindo and Alyssa handle the bigger Aragami, then Alyssa drops Lindo in, then we escape. This is just so dumb because I can think of plenty of ways you can get out of this situation. For one, if Alyssa's shot was strong enough to break the ceiling and block the door with debris, then it should also be strong enough to blast open said debris. And let's say there was no way of breaking the debris or helping out Lindo. They could have split the team with the first one focusing on escaping the PTSD-induced Alyssa, and the second team staying behind while they wait for the first team to call for backup. Soma and Sakuya could stay behind since they're veterans, so killing smaller Aragami won't be a problem for them, since they've been doing it all their lives. The more I analyze the scene, basically, it's like the more ridiculous it actually is. It's supposed to be an emotional scene, yet I feel nothing. But again, maybe if we spent more time with Lindo, it would be all the more impactful. It was a dumb move to kill a character we barely even know and act like it was a self-sacrifice thing. So, yeah, despite that, my point still stands. Anyway, we get a glimpse of what really happened inside the church as we were running away. Lindo gets corrupted and loses his god art, and Shio saves him at the nick of time. At this point, we still haven't met Shio, so she's still a blank slate. Lindo wakes up and notices that his arms turn into... that?
Huh? No, not it. I'm... hungry.
No, not it. I'm hungry.
Remember the foreshadowing and symbolism that I mentioned before? Well, here it is. Then we snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes spaghetti!
Not too bad.
Stop drinking love juice for God's sake. So we'll tell the director Suck about the power of friendship and tells us that he'll look into it further. What do we do until then? Gather materials again. Fuck. We're obligated to do side missions and collect certain materials in order to continue to the main story. The worst part is, you'll have to do these missions more than once, and it is not fun in the slightest. Thankfully, the game tells you where to find the materials, but you still have to do the same mission over and over again. It's a dumb filler mission. Anyway, we get all the required materials and given to Director Suck. One mission later, Tsubaki calls everyone for an announcement.
Lindo Amamiya is still alive.
So Lindo's alive and we're out to find him. Well, not us, the side characters. We have to stay in HQ in case an emergency like before occurs.
Hibari, when I'm hailed as a hero for bringing Lindo home, what do you say to some dinner?
Maybe you should just focus on bringing him back first.
And this, my friends, is why you don't simp for someone you barely know. Oh my god, he's still drinking love juice. Guy's hooked. So Ren explains that if a God Eater's God Arc is removed, he or she slowly turns into an Aragami. And if Lindo turns full Aragami, there is no saving him.
It's the only way to finish them.
Kabidong!
Could you put him down? Could you slay the beast?
This dialogue would be more convincing if our character could talk. Like, even gasps would have been enough. I know, if they gave the character dialogues, then they'd have to give every voice in the character creation screen more lines, and that's a lot of files to code in.
It is the nature of this world to choose. Selfish choices, foolish choices. It is the nature of this world to do right and to do wrong.
Ah, you talk like the director. I swear, there are only two types of characters in this game. One that talks like an idiot, and one that uses highfalutin words. No wonder the MC's mute. Anyway, we're fighting another douchebag because it's close to HQ.
Humongous hungalonga no no logongus.
Plan? What plan? Great, now everyone thinks horny can save the day. This is what happens when you drink love juice. Fuck! Another gathering quest. And we gotta fight the Hannibal again. Fuck you, game. Here, happy? So all of a sudden, the entire third unit disappeared, and Annette wants us to help her find them. This looks really serious, so let's head out immediately.
God Eater. So sorry I held you back. I let you down. I thought it would be so easy. I thought being a new type would make it so much better.
The delivery of her lines are just... Was it always this bad in the burst version? It sounds like she's stating a line in a Shakespeare play. Whatever, small nitpick. So, Gina also wants to join the search for Brendan and Cannon. The more the merrier, I suppose.
Just watch. I will find you no matter where you run. You can't escape my sight.
Girl, you crazy! Wow, the main characters care about the side characters. You don't see that every day. For once, I actually don't mind these filler missions. It gives proper characterization to the side characters and gives them character development to boot. It actually feels like you're a part of a bigger team and you're all looking out for each other. Like, we know that Tatsumi's a simp, but as the leader of his unit, he can't help but feel responsible for the disappearances. Even when he knows full well it wasn't his fault. Also, Cannon is often seen as this clumsy and useless character, but she joins the search for Brendan in order to prove that she's more than what they and she herself believe. And when you finally found Brendan, the whole team feels relieved and they feel like they've grown from this ordeal. Like, this filler arc gave me a better impression of the game's characters than Lindo ever could. What's unfair is that they didn't even get their own cutscenes, and I would have loved seeing us interact with them even more. But no, this act is about a character we've only known for 30 minutes, so we might as well call this game God Lindo. Oh look, for its 69% completion.
Nice.
Looks like everything's back to normal. Oh, fuck off, love juice. But now it feels like we're still missing a few people on the team. So it turns out Tatsumi and the gang needs backup. Seeing as Hibari is a secret crush on Tatsumi, we agree to rescue them. But first, we gotta go with the mission with Rem. Now, this was a detail that I didn't realize on my first playthrough. So when Ren dies or literally does anything, Hibari doesn't say anything. Actually, no one in the team ever comments on anything on it. It's almost like he's a ghost. Ooh, I wonder what that's all about. Maybe they're just avoiding him because he drinks too much love juice, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, we finish our mission and go straight to Tatsumi's location. Then this happens. Black Hannibal, cool. Dude, run away before it... Told you. Here comes Pandy Shot! Activate the power of friendship and view the monster's memories through its perspective. Yep, Lindo turned into Hannibal. As much as I like bashing on Lindo, this is a really cool scene. Like, we get to experience the point of view of an Aragami, literally. Then the Aragami side loses control and tries to hurt Tatsumi. Yada yada yada, we snap back to reality.
Mom spaghetti!
Lindo leaves and we're paralyzed with an ooh face for the rest of the game. A lot to take in, I know. I mean, the ooh face didn't even blink, so... Then Love Juice Addict tells us to talk to Tsubaki and tell her everything about what happened in the field. They say they'll look into it and we go back to Ren, who gives us a choice. Do we kill Lindo or let him live? It doesn't matter which choice we make, it'll lead to the same end anyway. Here we go, final battle. Already, wow, plot's moving too fast, I'm not even ready yet.
Gather your arcs. We're going right now.
Hold! No one moves, not yet. Sakuya, are you ready to point your arc at Lindo? And what about the rest of you? Do you think you could take aim at your teacher?
What I like and don't like about all of this is that they're practically already telling us what to expect and how the characters would react to fighting an already turned Lindo. I don't like it because it dumbs down the stakes of the conflict.
Sakuya, not you.
But I also kinda like it because there's no bad guy doing bad things. It's just a guy who turns into an Aragami and we have to bring him back in the simplest of ways. No romantic villain, no saving the world, just a personal conflict between characters. And as dumbed down as it is, I actually prefer it this way. Especially when the game's concept is ridiculous to begin with. You don't want to mix bizarreness with logic, trust me. It's time to fight the Black Hannibal. Alone. Well, Ren's with us, but he's fucking useless, as you'll see later on. I usually don't talk about variant monsters, but I feel like I have to talk about the corrosive Hannibal. This guy is stupid fast. Not to mention his aggro will always be directed at the player. But perhaps the most annoying part of this fight is Ren himself. He dies constantly. When you try to revive him, you die, then he revives you, then he dies, and vice versa. Here's an advice: don't revive Ren. You'll just be wasting precious items and time. Just have him respawn, and don't worry about endurance for now. Like, I swear, if I didn't have 1 HP survival skill, I would have died plenty of times. Fuck Ren. Once we beat it, it self-regenerates and reveals Lindo at its core. Then Ren uses his stand.
Lindo, I know you're still in there. I know it's still you. You're coming home. Even if I have to drag you there myself, you are coming home.
The infamous talk no jutsu. So we take Lindo's god art and...
You can't run away. I won't let you run away from living. You hear me? That's an order, Lindo.
This is the one moment in the entire game where our character talks. Now you understand what I mean when I say it's gonna take a lot of time to code so many voices. Okay, what the hell happened? So we ask Ren what happened and all that shtick. So simply put, we're in Lindo's mind, and we shared our Aragami cells with him. That sounds so wrong. So now we have to wake up Lindo before he turns full Aragami, or we disappear entirely. Also, there's no one here except Hibari and the shopkeeper, cause convenience. So Lindo's brain is as empty as the fucks I give about his character. Mission time. Ren is so fucking useless. He doesn't attack the enemy, he doesn't dodge or guard when hit, and his healing bullets hardly reaches the player. Sakuya was never fixed to begin with. So we get to fight the Ouroboros that Lindo fought at the beginning of the game. And Ren is still useless, fuck. Wait, aren't you dead? What kind of porn have you been fapping to?
I've fallen, and I can't get up!
So Ren is Lindo's god arc? I'll explain after I fight this final boss.
What a day.
So let me explain this in the simplest of terms. When Lindo lost his god arc, it gained its own spirit, and only those who have resonated with Lindo's god arc can see Ren, making him a ghost, which also carries a part of Lindo. And the Black Hannibal is the Aragami side of Lindo that's slowly corrupting him. And without the god arc stabilizing his Aragami cells, he slowly gave in to the Aragami. But now we've given Lindo his god arc back, he's able to stabilize it again. There's also this kind of theory that Ren is a time traveler who came back to the past through Lindo's god arc, but that's as ridiculous as, well, this. So Ren sacrifices himself to revert Lindo back to a human. If you think that sounds ridiculous, then clearly you haven't been paying attention to this video. So we save Lindo, and that's the end of that. So Lindo returns to training the new recruits, and he still can't count. But most importantly, he tells us the message of the game.
Don't run away from living. That means don't give up. One way or another, everyone must come home. Get it?
Yeah, simple message for a simple plot, just the way I like it.
It really was a lovely wedding, sir. Should we expect to hear the pitter-patter of little Lindo soon?
And that's literally telling him to fuck Sakuya. Love juice sure works in mysterious ways.
We did pick out a name, though. For the future. Our child will be Ren.
And that is the end of Act 2. So the final act is, well, I describe it as a masochist's wet dream because it's unforgiving. Dark Souls is a joke when compared to this. But before we talk about the hell that is Act 3, let's scurry off to a different topic. Let's talk about the music for now. Now, before I begin, let me make something clear. All the tracks were recorded in-game, so if YouTube blocks this video for music copyright, I'm calling bullshit. So, as I said before, some tracks fit right with their stages. Gearing up the storm gives the sense of peace, but carries the sense of foreboding. The use of orchestra helped it create a feeling of sadness, and the piano and trumpets in the background gave the atmosphere a sense of urgency. In a world consumed by winds, it makes a perfect theme for an epic battle about to unfold. Voice of the Blizzard sounds like a blizzard. But in all seriousness, this theme followed an important rule when making an ice theme track. Bells, celestas, and xylophones with their light and high-pitched notes makes for a chilling yet shiny atmosphere. Like the ice is reflecting light and illuminating the stage. And I know this works because I made an ice theme track a while ago, and it also uses high-pitched notes. So yeah, they follow the rules for this one. God's Table captures the sound of a jungle theme through its use of chants and tribal singing, accompanied by drums and other percussion instruments, and a single voice singing in an incomprehensible language. Yeah, that's totally incomprehensible. It gives the whole stage the feeling of being lost in a forest of metal and steel. Again, this track followed the rules of a proper theme track, so no arguments there. Flame Dance. My god, I did not expect this track to work. So remember when I said that the Inferno map looks like a highway to hell? Well, this song just presented it without your typical heavy metal motif. Instead, we get a Mexican-ish, Spanish-ish melody, mostly used for flamenco and samba and tango. So instead of riding the highway to hell, this dance motif gives off the vibe of dancing with death as you approach the hellfire, hence the title. So yeah, this track works super well with the stage, unlike the next tracks. An Approaching Nightmare. Got children singing in Portuguese? I'm not sure. I think they're saying Alena Sofia, which sounds like a name, to be honest. Anyway, the track gives off this feeling that children are somehow singing for salvation, and there's the orchestra accompanying it, gives us this sense of urgency to fight the Aragami in order to save more lives. There's also this flick sound. I don't know why it's there, but it kind of breaks the momentum of the song. Shadow covering the town is too epic for its own good. To be honest, it sounds like a track in a Godzilla movie. You got every instrument fighting to stand out, and trumpets emulating a siren sound. The choir also kind of give off this idea of people running away from a disaster. So yeah, it makes for a good track for a disaster film. If you've noticed, I didn't talk about the roles of the tracks in their respective stages. That's because it doesn't work. Approaching Nightmare doesn't make me think of a bridge or San Francisco. It feels out of place, especially since we see nothing that can reflect the children singing. Neither is there anything that can present the urgency of battle. At the same time, I think Shadow covering the town feels out of place in the church or the ghettos. It sounds out of place for an open stage, especially when the stage has no feeling of urgency. Okay, so here's what I think. I think Shadow should have been the track for San Francisco, and Approaching Nightmare for the church. It would make more sense that way since the bridge kinda looks like something Godzilla or aliens might destroy. And since the map is a straight line, then it would give a sense of urgency to stop the enemy right in front of us. Approaching Nightmare would also work in the church because the children singing could emulate people who are praying for salvation, or there are children in the ghetto that needs to be saved. I have no qualms about the songs themselves, it's just misplaced tracks on misplaced stages. Okay, let's talk about the track played at HQ. Howl of the Wolf. So this track works, but at the same time it doesn't. I mentioned how the track feels out of place for a location where the player feels claustrophobic, and an epic military theme is probably not the best choice for it. Not to mention, it's noisy as fuck. Imagine coming back from a mission and this is blasted in your ear. Now, I say it works because it has this hopeful vibe resonating with it. Despite being a military-themed track, it has a lot of variation to make it its own thing. When I hear this track, it makes me think of a wolf howling to a peaceful world. So this track ain't all bad, just kind of misplaced. There's also a sad song. The peaceful song. And everything in between, but all of those are pretty generic, so it's not worth talking about. I also want to mention special themes for certain monsters like the Pita, Ardenova, Fallen Ardenova, Hannibal, and the Ouroboros. No way back. Out my way. Yeah, we get Eurobeat for Pita. I have no idea why it has to be Eurobeat. Maybe it's because the Pita is a lightning-based Aragami, I don't know. But it does help pump the player up when fighting. I mean, Eurobeat usually does that, so I guess it works somehow. Deo Volente. This is your typical final boss song, like big baddie becomes god and he's out to destroy the world kind of song. Not much to say, let's just move on. New World, like Deo Volente, but more feminine. Next. March of Calamity, Kaiji song. Not much to say about it since it's done its job representing the titan, that is the Ouroboros. Merciless King. The title speaks for itself. It's horrific, tense, it sounds like something behind you is ready to kill you at any time. The quiet choir and boost beat presents a scene where there is no escape. Either face your fate or fight the Merciless King. Finally, the main theme. And by main theme, I mean this motif. You will hear this motif in every track of the game. It's played in the key of D and only uses perfect keys once or twice. Also, it doesn't start with D, unlike most tracks. Instead, it starts with the 3rd and 7th. You know what? I'm boring you, aren't I? Let's just say that this theme works the same way as Leia's theme in Star Wars. It stands for a single howl, a sign of hope in a bleak world. I could not have asked for a better motif. Okay, I guess that's it. I mean, the music pretty much works. I have no problems in it. It's just some of them are kind of misplaced. But that's all I have to say about the music. Let's just talk about the final act now.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
So to recap, here's Act 1.
Wel, we gaan er vandaag vanuit dat dat evenementen zijn die terug zullen kunnen doen.
And here's Act 2.
Nope. No. Nope. No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
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 After all that shenanigan, it seems like everyone has plans on leaving HQ. Alyssa plans on going back to Russia, Lindo's leaving us to become the leader, and we gotta fight the Ardenova again. Fuck. This is probably the only game I've played where you have to fight the final boss 3 times. It's scattered throughout the plot. It's like the game has a fetish for final bosses. It's weird. It seems that something sinister is happening in our background. Sure, whatever. Aaron is part of the team now, yay! And all we gotta do is... oh, fuck, another filler mission. Are we done?
Another one.
Kaguya reference again. Ooh, is this a foreshadowing? Guess we're fighting Ravana, but it'll just be me and Koda. Fuck. Okay, I didn't get a recording of my fight against Ravana because I accidentally clicked the record button twice. Yeah, I'm an idiot. And so the footage that you'll be seeing will be me doing the mission again with the Alyssas. Haven't talked about an Aragami in a while, so the Ravana is a special Aragami that hunts the God Eaters rather than the other way around. This fire-based Aragami relies a lot on projectiles for damage. There's its flame cannon, the flame cannon, and the flame cannon. Yeah, it's mostly just flame cannons. Oh, and poison cannon too, I guess. It has a slow build-up in between shots, so it's easy to dodge. There's not much to talk about other than the fact that it just really likes cannons in general. It's not a difficult Aragami, mid-tier at best. But what does make this mission aggressively challenging is that you have to fight the Ravana together with 2 Yakshas. And they will always track down the player, always. Dispersing the team won't do any good since your teammates will run the same direction as you and you can't brush the Yakshas off since they're lured in by the sounds of combat. So you're stuck with fighting them all at the same time. And it's not a simple feat. There will always be projectiles floating around, shot by both the Yakshas and the Ravana. So if you don't want to die, you better move. I died so many times in my first playthrough, mostly because I only had Koda for a teammate and he's pretty much useless most of the time, that it made me use 110% of my brain cells just to finish the mission. Yes, it's that difficult. It doesn't help that you're only given a limited number of tries before you lose your last life and get a game over. At this point in the game, there is nothing but suffering. Really? Because I didn't feel it. Apparently this is a thing, but I didn't feel it in-game. Whatever, small nitpick.
What can we do for you, Doctor? Oh, hey, Soma's back. What up, Soma?
It's good to see you all again.
Yeah, for some reason, instead of a cutscene, we're shown a VN-like dialogue for this. Like, most of the game from this point on will mostly use this format for the main story. And it's weird, since there's still some cutscenes in some parts of the story, so why the sudden shift? I'm sorry, but this just felt like they were cutting corners. Anyway, back to the plot. So, a fragment of the Nova, the big thing that Shio brought to the moon, mutated and became an Aragami. And it grows stronger whenever it eats more powerful Aragami. But since it's been hyped up as a top boss, there is no way we're gonna fight him this early. Oh, come on! Whoa, looks intimidating. With a boss like that, this will surely be a long and arduous fight. Wait, that's it? It's over? It's dead? Well, that was anticlimactic.
God Eaters, respond! Are you sure you killed it?
Yeah. Looks totally dead.
Guys, the Nova's Oracle response is still stable.
Just when you think it's dead, it comes back to life with abilities we're not familiar with. Damn, Aragami was toying with us.
Did anyone ever tell you how the outer wall works? A super basic explanation is that the plating is inlaid with bias factors.
This is boring. I really couldn't care less how the wall works. I just want to beat the Nova.
That means our weapons will become less and less effective as the monster gets strong.
Why didn't you just start with that? I wasted my time listening to your mamble. Time for us to find Nova. Again.
That Nova bastard can show up at any time.
Like a hot white blast of phosphorescent light that sears away the flesh of the earth.
My goodness, I love these interactions. Makes you feel like a connection has been made with your teammates.
Operation complete. No sightings to report. Though maybe you could bring back one of those cookies, please?
First love juice, now cookies. What's next? Milk duds? So, Sakuya messages whatever. Here's a small segment called Karen's not doing her job properly. We talk to Koda and find out he's been worried about Soma ever since the new Nova incident.
But he had this look in his eye. It was driven, but almost excited. I was glad, really.
So I'm guessing this is a new ship? I don't know, I'm not into BL. Anyway, we found Nova. But first, we gotta get rid of the Aragamis around the location. Sekhmet is bullshit. And your teammates are even worse. I can't believe I'm saying this, but fuck off, Soma. Sekhmet is bullshit. This is bullshit. Stop with this bullshit. This boss is full of bullshit. Fertilize an entire acre of crops. Seriously.
When you've confirmed the target, signal for backup. We'll converge and face it together. Understood?
Wait, say that again.
Understood?
That was one of the most lifeless deliveries I have ever heard.
Understood?
It's freaking huge.
So Soma and the others found Nova and...
Captain, we got the Nova right here. It may have spotted us, so get over quick. Captain, it's bad. The signal cut out.
You're in the fucking mountains. How can there be bad reception?
This monster roams free because I let it. And I will be the one to cut it down.
Nah, I recommend you get out there before you... Told you. And then they died. Oh wait, Soma's alive. Well, that's good to know. Nope, he's dead. So we fight the Nova, but none of our attacks work, so it beats the living shit out of us. Then this happens.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just as confused as you. Like, what's Shio doing here? Why did the Nova retreat? Why is there no panty shot this time? I don't know, a lot of questions, especially the panty shot one. Where the hell were you all this time? So Koda, Soma, and Alyssa are out of commission for now. Don't really care for the other two, but losing Alyssa as well? This game just won't give me any breaks, huh? We can't chase after the Nova with everyone's current conditions, so we'll have to wait until they recover. Wait, you're not yet done? So we need to gather materials in order to make medicine for your injured teammates. You know what that means? Filler mission. This time with Sakuya and Lindo. Fairly easy mission. At least the game decides to give you a break.
Well, it's the plain truth. Leading a unit is not for the faint of heart. Am I right?
So here's a bit of character development with Lindo. Yes, I know it's too late for character development now since he died and left us with so much responsibility, but we see how he also regrets disappearing all of a sudden without bonding with us. It's like a deadbeat dad kind of relationship now, and I actually prefer that than the Gary Stew that he used to be. Great, now I kind of want cookies. Give me 1 second. Alright, I got some Oreos. Let's do this shit. Alright, let's go visit Soma.
Ah, I didn't expect you so soon.
He explains that the Shio copy we saw was actually a Nova fragment disguised as Shio. Why Shio? I don't know. There's like a holy trinity going on with Nova, but I can't be bothered to care. Anyway, someone's recovered, so that's good to know. Let's move on with the filler mission. So Lindo and Sakuya is leaving again? Fuck you too, game. So to avoid the Nova from getting any stronger, we're gonna have to eliminate every strong Aragami. It's a race against time, and one we cannot afford to lose. That's why we're fighting a Venus. With Soma. Just Soma. Fuck. Let's talk about the Venus. If you're expecting a hot chick with
humongous hungalomganonologonga,
then, well, you're kind of right. It's a lightning-based Aragami that walks on all four and has a demon for a head. It's also covered in pimples. And if it wasn't obvious enough already, that's its weak spots. Its moves are fairly simple. It has a lightning projectile, a plunging attack, but with lightning surrounding it. And you don't want to get hit by this, by the way, because it's an insta-kill move. And the butt cannon, what? It also has the ability to mix and match poison and lightning to its attacks and apply it as an AoE burst or purple tornadoes. The best strategy when fighting this Aragami is to pop its pimples. Yeah, I don't know how to phrase that any better. Basically, every pimple you pop disables the Venus's other moves unless it's aggro, then it gets a free-for-all. So if you pop the pimple under its butt, it will stop fighting off ice cannons. Yeah, this is a weird game. We return to base with the news that Koda and Alyssa have recovered. Well, they still need some time to work things out, but come next mission, they'll be available to play with again. Which is great, because there's no substitute for Alyssa. Well, maybe Canon, but she's... One corrosive Hannibal later, Dr. Suck calls everyone in to explain his plan on defeating the Nova. As mentioned before, the team needs to devour Aragami cores that have never been discovered in order to get a heads up on the Nova. And these special Aragami are now called Dreadnoughts.
They're called Dreadnoughts, Alyssa! Dreadnoughts!
I mean, it's better than douchebags. So our first Dreadnought will be Caligula. Fuck. That was awkward, but whatever. We see the fragment that looks like Shio and...
She looks just like Shio.
No shit, Alyssa. Then we accidentally touch her and the power of friendship activates. Then it disappears and...
What the hell just happened?
Koda's face, man.
Looks like we have a more pressing problem.
Soma always says the right things, like there's no bullshit. I like that. Time to fight the Caligula. Now, the Caligula may look like a Hannibal, but it's an entirely different Aragami altogether. Sure, it shares the same moves sometimes, but most of its moves are original. It has blades instead of a shield that it uses to slash players, an aura burst similar to a Vajra, and his deadliest move yet, the Flying Lunge. It requires precise dodges to avoid, but if you miss, well, you die. What's worse is that the move has another version. It charges a lightning ball, flies in the air, summons ice tornadoes, plunges at its target, paralyzing them, then one final slash to end its target. It's a super devastating attack, so you should always keep your guard up. If you want to play it safe, go for its back. It doesn't go to phase 2 when broken, and it's got a large hitbox. Just because it's a subspecies doesn't mean it's easier than its predecessor. Back at HQ, Dr. Suck gives us another mission. Find the Shio-looking fragment. Great, more workload. Well, why not let me do your laundry too? Anyway, more Dreadnought mission. Oh wait, this isn't a Dreadnought. What the fuck? It's a filler mission disguised as the main story. Fuck you, game.
Help, Alyssa. Just let us know if there's anything else we can do.
I might hold you to that.
Just Alyssa being Alyssa, I guess.
Soma, what's with that look?
Where did you get that book?
So, Alyssa's taken a liking to Soma's parents' research and want to practice it to help reinforce the walls.
Why would you waste your time with his words?
Just Soma being Soma, I guess. Another filler mission. Fuck you, game. Okay, finally an actual Dreadnought. Fallen Ardenova.
Aragami, come out and fight us!
Koda, when has that ever worked?
I mean, you never know, they might actually be smart enough to approach you and say, too dark? Okay, sorry. So we meet Shio again, because plot.
How it feels to chew 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
Alright, time to fight the Fallen. Small hiccup. What? Okay, whatever. Wait, that wasn't fair. Oh, come on. Oh, that's bullshit. How? How? Okay, it's almost there. Fuck! Why is that an instant kill? Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I stopped playing. For 2 days. This loss hit me so hard. Then I returned, and I took it personally. You have no idea how glad I was to finally beat the Fallen. But that wasn't the final boss, so I can't even imagine how difficult the next missions will be. Fuck you, Segment! Why do they keep giving me filler missions? Yeah, I know we're doing it to prepare for a showdown with Nova, but couldn't they do it in a more creative manner? Oh well, at least I get to go on a mission with my juniors. Time for another Dreadnought. It's the Blitz Hannibal. Shit. Now this is probably the second hardest mission in the entire main story. It's not just your typical Hannibal, no. It's a divine-based Hannibal that moves twice, no, 5 times faster. This motherfucker's so fast that if you stop for even 1 second, you're dead. You have to keep moving, and that's tough enough as it is because your stamina runs out quickly and it can outrun you, so retreating it is not even an option. There's no room for breathing, no room for errors, and absolutely no room for deaths. Don't bother reviving your teammates because you'll die before you even get to them. Let them respawn on their own and focus all your attention on a Blitz Hannibal. Also, make sure everyone has endurance up or damage cut equipped because they can get incapacitated in the blink of an eye. Lastly, bring as many recovery and buff items as you can, and use them sparingly because you will run out of items if you're not careful. Now that we've taken down the Blitz, it's time to go straight for next target. Yeah, there's not enough time to go back to HQ. Unfortunately, the Nova beat us to it.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man! Oh god! Oh man!
Not to worry, Shio's here to stop it. Well, she's fucked. We get there just in the nick of time and do our best to fend off the Nova, but I run off before we could do anything else. We use the power of friendship again and we get this. Yep, a flashback of what happened when Shio ran away from HQ. Nice throwback actually. Really gives us more depth to the character. We then return to HQ and discuss our next step.
Our God Arcs can't counter the Nova's massive hodgepodge of bias factors.
I'll try to keep this simple. So, basically every time the Nova acquires a core, it attempts to adapt it and temporarily becomes vulnerable to enemy attacks. So all we gotta do is give the Nova all the cores that we've collected so far and make it vulnerable for as long as possible. It's a risky plan, but since its vulnerability period only lasts for an hour, if we don't take it down by then, it'll practically be immortal and the human race is screwed. And now the stage for the final battle is set. Is this supposed to be a montage? Because it looks awkward as fuck. I forgot I named my character that. This actually fits well too. Anyway, time to prepare for the final battle. And when I mean prepare, I mean prepare. The Nova is by far the hardest boss in the game, so grind as much as you can. Upgrade your weapons to the highest rank as much as possible, gun and shield included. Bring as many items as you can. Equip everyone's final skills, maybe give them HP up as well. Install as many skills as you can, and make sure you're ready for, in my opinion, the hardest boss in God Eater Resurrection, the Arya's Nova. So we find the Nova inside its cocoon and... Yep, it's every Aragami you've ever faced merged into one.
It's time!
Let's fucking go! So like I said, it's a combination of every Aragami ever. It has poison spears like a Hannibal that it uses as projectiles, can summon drills from the ground like an Ouroboros, and slashes with Yaospita's wings. Not to mention it has Hard Nova's health pool. It deals stupid damage if you leave yourself open, so I highly recommend equipping Auto Guard if you're not used to guarding. It'll save you your life more than once. And just like on the Blitz Hannibal mission, don't revive your teammates unless you really need to. Most importantly, don't jump. This was the biggest mistake I made in my first playthrough. Keep yourself grounded and dodge as much as possible. Focus on the arms and back, and step back when it's about to lunge. It's not as fast as the Hannibal, so take your time healing or using buff items. When it falls, take advantage of it and quickly deal as much damage as possible. Lastly, don't be afraid to hit it. It doesn't have any moves to hit you when you're camping under it except for the lunge attacks and the spinning slashes. Just face your fears and devour the god with all you've got. Alas, we did it. Everyone else is dead, but we did it. Cutscene time. I'm gonna play the scene in full because it's my favorite cutscene in the entire game. Enjoy.
We'll take this monster down! Lindo, Soma, on my mark, strike from the flanks. Sakuya, Koda, Alyssa, carve out an opening.
Got it!
Cut through!
Finish it!
That was amazing. The Nova's finally gone and Shio's fragment returns one last time. Everyone says their final goodbyes, including us.
Shio, thank you. Farewell.
And the final fragment returns to the moon. What awaits it there is, well... And that, my friends, is the end of God Eater Resurrection. For real this time.
I heard all of you. Every word. Even with eternity between us, we are always together.
Okay, that's the entire plot, so let's summarize. Act 1 was your generic save the world from bad guy shonen anime plot. Well, I did enjoy the character introductions and each main character getting their due character development. For example, we have Alyssa being a bitch in the beginning, and she developed into a caring and hardworking teammate. There's also Koda, who's a coward, finding the courage to fight in order to protect his family. And lastly, there's Soma, from an emo to a tsundere. Enough said. What I didn't enjoy, and perhaps what broke the plot for me, was its treatment of death. They have a really hypocritical take on death. Like, Eric dies and no one cared. But when Lindo died, all of a sudden everyone's in despair. Then there's the director's death, which was literally brushed off into a narration. Like, what message are they trying to convey regarding death? That death is common and that we should move on? Or that only those that are cared by many deserve to live? I don't understand what their stance on death is. And I'm really disappointed that they didn't just go to the simple route. Like, unlike Act 2, which was simple and clear in its message and execution, and it being the longest act, it has no excuse to leave things so unorganized. Act 2 was surprisingly decent. We got an objective, which was to find Lindo, a roadblock that was the corrosive Hannibal, a guide to the objective, that being Ren, and a narrative conflict between Lindo and the Aragami inside of him, telling him to completely turn. As eye-rolling as the act was, it still kind of followed the structure, so I have no problems with it. Overall, this is an act not great, but also not horrible. Also, love juice. The final act feels more like an OVA rather than a third act. It's got the same characters doing the same missions, the only difference is the addition of new Aragami and a reminder that Shio is still on the moon. There's stakes, but not really connected to any of the characters, and the objective keeps getting modified. Like, 1 minute we're tasked to find Nova, then it's changed to help your teammates' recovery, then find a fragment that looks like Shio. It's just all over the place. It feels more like DLC content rather than a finale to a series. Plot-wise, it doesn't really hold up well. I'd say the only good plot was the latter parts of Act 1 and the entirety of Act 2. I think one of the reasons why this is the case is because a lot of things were just kind of misplaced, like Lindo's death or the Nova defeating our teammates out of nowhere. And this leads us to the next chapter of the video.
Amazing. A booby trap that actually catches boobies.
What's up? It's your boy. That's kind of cringy. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the characters, and I'm gonna do it in a tier list based thingy. I already did one for the biggest hentai tier list in existence. Yeah, you can just click the card up here if you want to watch it. But for now, we're gonna do a tier list for God Eater characters. We're gonna do this, I don't know, randomly, I guess. So yeah, we're just gonna start with, who's that Pokemon? Oh look, it's Arena, one of the most adorable characters in the game. Kind of tsundere, even in the second game, but I mean, she's not really a playable character. She's a support character, but I'm gonna put her in here. Go good all day. Alyssa, probably one of the best character developments in the game. Like I said, for like the third time now, Alyssa started off as a bitch, and now she's like one of the most caring characters in the game, even though she kind of has a thing for Coda, but whatever. I like her as a character, and I also like her in the gameplay, as she's really good support, so I'm gonna put her in rank yes. Brendan doesn't really appear much, so I'm just gonna put her in here just because. Again, there's really not much to say about him. I mean, he's a retired God Eater, gives you advice. I don't know, there's not much to say. Just because. Annette, I like everything about her except for the voice acting. I don't know what happened. I don't remember the voice acting being this bad in the original Burst version, so I don't know what exactly happened. I'm gonna put her here. And at least she gets more screen time than Federico. Nobody cares about Federico. Just no. Anyway, Ren. I don't know how to feel about Ren. I mean, he likes love juice, so he talks like the director, and it's kind of weird. And I'm gonna put him here because at least he does this job. Oh my gosh, Gina. Gina is a yandere, man. You don't wanna mess with a yandere. I gotta put Gina here because I don't put my dick in crazy. Sorry. Hibari, one of the best supports in the game. Probably because she's the first one and she actually gives you support skills. S tier. Best support, man. Like, she's just one of the best support in the game. Director. No. I really don't like the director. He's a hypocrite, basically. Oh, Canon. I have a personal bias for Canon. I actually like her as a character before Alyssa got her character development because she was the only competent healer in the game. And we don't mention Sakuya. We're gonna talk about Sakuya later. Oh my gosh. But Canon, I like her design. I like her personality, especially because they changed her personality. In Burst, she was like a yandere, and in here, in Resurrection, she's just, your typical sassy girl. And, just like that. I like the kind of characters. Would I put her in A? I guess I should put her in A. Yeah, I'm gonna put her in A. Carol, whatever, Carol. Not much to say about him. Like, he's rich and he's so full of himself. Not much to say about him. He has character, but not character development. So I'm gonna put her in no. Sorry. Okay, Coda. He has character development, I'll give him that. He looks like a really cool guy to hang around with, so I'm gonna put him in good old A. Oh my gosh, Lika. I have no idea why she's like part of the main story. I don't know why she's here, so I'm gonna put her in just because. Just because she's a character. Next one would be Lindo. Again, I don't know what to think about Lindo, because I don't know why they just suddenly chose to just kill him right then and there. But during the resurrection part, he actually looks more like a father figure, and I like that kind of, dynamic. I'm just gonna put him here. Oh, Dr. Suck, Peter Sakaki. I mean, he's part of the story, and he has a really interesting personality, so I'm just gonna put him here. And just because. Perfect. Shio. Yeah, she does develop, I guess. She has character development, like from a mindless Aragami to an actual person, an actual human, so I'm gonna put her here. I kinda enjoy her in the game as well. Shun. Kind of full of himself, but he has a fun personality. I'm gonna say that he's just, a lower coda, but I'm not gonna say that he's a bad coda. He's just, Soma. Oh. Automatic. It's just the character, the personality, his background, and he gets even better at the third game because, I don't know what happened in the second game, but the third game they really go in depth with him. So yeah, Tatsumi. I mean, he does go through character development, so I'm gonna put him on good old A. Tsubaki. She has character, she has personality, she's Lindo's big sister, and everyone loves the Ara. Unfortunately, she's not really given that much depth, but she's still there in game, and she's an RR character, so I'm gonna put him in just because. And there you go. That's the character tier list for God Eater. I don't know how to finish this video. Let's just move on to the next segment, I guess.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
If you've made it this far into the video, then congratulations. You just wasted 2.5 hours of your life. But is that time worth wasting? That's the question that this segment aims to answer. So is God Eater worth wasting your time on? Simple answer, yes. Lying answer, well, let's divide it into parts, I guess. Let's start with the character selection because that's literally the first thing we do in the game. There's a lot of variety in customizing your character. Lots of default faces, hairstyles, accessories, clothes, whatever. But unlike most games with character creation, you actually see your character's face throughout the game. A lot of games have detailed character creations only for them to never see those creations in-game. Most of the time, it's covered by armor like in Dark Souls or Monster Hunter, or it's viewed in first person like Skyrim or Cyberpunk. But for God Eater, you see everything. I could compare this character creation to MMOs, so you can put a lot of detail to your character without worrying about armor or accessories overshadowing them. You can also make renditions of your favorite anime characters in the game. Like, I remade my favorite Kankure waifus like Kashima, Katori, Hamakaze, etc. And I'm glad they were able to keep this feature consistent throughout the whole franchise. Code Vein included as well. Naturally, the first game offered limited resources for character creation, but that's not gonna stop devoted fans to make their waifus in-game. So if you want to play as your favorite anime character in this game, you can. It's just gonna take some time to make them. Okay, let's start with the game itself. First, let's get the obvious out of the way. The game is fast, boy! Well, it's not fast, but it sure feels like it is. It responds to quick reaction time and correct button presses in order to pull off different combos and styles. Like, seriously, pulling off moves in the game makes you look like a master. Like, dude, look at that pro moves! And for this, we have to thank the different gameplay features that the game offers to the player. Now, the God Arc switching is perhaps what makes this game different from its contemporaries. By switching God Arcs, you can switch from melee to ranged weapons on the fly. This can prove to be very useful in so many different situations. And you're going to want to change frequently as OP is expended when shooting with a gun and can be replenished with melee attacks. Not to mention gun attacks are very effective in staggering enemies, so you'll be using that a lot as well. Also, the game sometimes decides to place enemies out of weapons reach, so guns are useful for those moments. It makes for perfect balance since close range and long range work hand in hand when defeating Aragami. Another feature would be the game's mainstay feature, the Devour. So Devour is a feature that allows the player to, devour enemies in order to achieve Burst Mode, a mode that powers up the player in different ways depending on one's character build. It has the same effect as Mario eating a mushroom. It strengthens one's attack, fortifies defense, and improves speed. It has 3 levels, with each level enhancing the effectiveness of given skills. While Devour is in every game in the franchise, Resurrection is the only game that lets you customize your Devours. By that, I mean it lets you choose which type of Devour you'd like to use in different situations. Devours are divided into 5 types, and you can equip a skill for each. This allows for different gameplay styles and strategies and missions. You can change your character Devourer into a quick Devourer and reach burst as soon as possible, or a slow Devourer that gives all of your teammates level 3 burst status. Equipped skills can also be very useful when dealing with certain Aragami. For example, equipping Divine Damage can prove effective against Aragami, weak against Divine. Okay, let's talk about the weapons. So in God Eater, you are allowed to equip 3 arsenals: the main weapon, the gun, and the shield. The main weapon allows you to melee enemies and use techniques specific to each weapon. This also allows you to absorb OP within each hit. In Burst, there are only 3 main weapons: the knife, the longsword, and the greatsword, but in Resurrection, they added 3 more: the charge spear, the boost hammer, and the scythe. Let's go through all the weapons one by one. So the knife is probably the fastest hidden weapon in the game. It allows for 5 hits instead of the usual 4 or 3. It also has a technique called Advanced Step, which lets you move a step after doing an action. It's basically the game's version of dash cancel. If you don't know dash cancel, it's when you do an action and interrupt an action with another action to do another action. Yeah, it's confusing, I know. Here's an example from Mega Man X4. It sounds complicated to pull off, but with enough practice, you can use it effectively in battle. It's especially helpful against quick-moving enemies like Chio or the Hannibal. That all looks good on paper until you realize that the knife also doesn't inflict as much damage as the other weapons. Its power had to compensate for its speed, so I don't recommend this weapon if you're going for DPS. It is, however, a good piercing weapon, making it a decent weapon for unarmored weak spots. That being said, the knife isn't a weapon that I recommend you use when fighting an Aragami head on. When hitting, I reckon striking the back or the underbelly, it's your best bet. You don't have to worry about inflicting as much damage though, since the quick hits make your OP replenish even faster. Personally, I don't use the knife because hitting fast ain't my style. But if you don't mind weak but quick hits, this isn't a bad weapon. Also, mid-air attacks are broken as fuck. Now on to the longsword. Now this weapon is a favorite among players because it makes you go. Its triangle action allows you to hit in a vertical manner, good for AoE damage and smooth striking overall. What's great is that your character also moves as you strike, making it easier to hit moving enemies. One moment, you're striking the head, the next moment, you're behind it saying, "Omae wa mou shindeiru." NANI? The longsword also has probably the coolest move in the game, the circular slash. Its jump attack allows a player to propel forward and hit the enemy in a vertical circular slash thing. This move is seriously the best. It makes flying enemies seem like a walk in the park with this move. It's also good for breaking parts that one can't usually reach with other weapons. Granted, it's not the best for breaking parts, but the fact that you can hit unreachable parts is an advantage on its own. Its unique skill is, it depends on the weapon. So how it works is kind of like a quick shot, shooting a bullet without changing into gun form. There's a bomb type, shot type, etc. If you find switching to gun form a nuisance, then this is a really helpful feature. But yeah, this weapon is as generic as it can get. Highly recommended for beginners who want to go through the game without wanting to learn advanced mechanics. Now, the greatsword was the first weapon I used in game, and in Burst, and I guess not in Resurrection anymore, but hey. And the reason I like it so much is because it breaks parts fast. The greatsword does a ton of raw damage. It has the same features as the greatswords from other games. You have the charge attack, the vertical slash, the horizontal slash, stomp parry, the follow-up before the slash itself, the slow movement, and all that shit. This is probably the go-to weapon if you have already played Monster Hunter or Dark Souls, since you don't need to familiarize yourself with the movesets. Despite being the slowest weapon in the game, capable of hitting only 3 times, it hits really hard. It's great for breaking origami parts and staggering enemies when most weapons can't. The square action is similar to the longswords, only the player doesn't move. The triangle action do vertical slashes capable of staggering enemies when facing them head on. And the parry, oh the parry. This skill is a lifesaver if you know how to use it. So you can parry by holding the dash button and pressing the triangle button. And when timed right, you can instantly stagger enemies. It's not just for parrying purposes though. If you have a tower shield equipped, you can use it as a sort of a flash block. Like, you have no idea how many times this move has saved my ass. But that's very rarely, considering it's very difficult to pull off. The charge slash is also really OP. Sure, it takes a while to charge, but not only does it hit hard, it also has an extended range, hitting enemies that's twice your distance. And if you equip the charge slash upgrade, then you can just spam the move until the sucker goes down. What I do hate about this version of the greatsword, however, is this stupid follow-up move. The player readies the greatsword before swinging it, and it's really stupid. Like, yeah, I get that there has to be anticipation in the animation, but this is so inconvenient when fighting enemies. It's like the game saying, you pressed at the wrong time, now suffer the consequences. Thankfully, you can dash and swing to avoid the follow-up animation, so it's not really that big of a deal, but it's still extremely annoying. If you don't mind slow hitting weapons that deal lots of damage, then yeah, the greatsword is the best weapon for you. It doesn't help that they completely buffed this weapon in God Eater 3, but that's a discussion for another time. Alright, time to talk about the new weapons. Starting off with my favorite weapon in the whole franchise, the Charge Spear. This is perhaps the most balanced weapon in the game, capable of close-range slash attacks, mid-range piercing attacks, and charged lunging strikes that you can use on the ground and mid-air. Now, the Charge Spear is mainly a piercing weapon, but with the right build, you can basically make it a weapon for every type of Aragami. The square button makes the player slash using the spear, great for AoE and just doing damage in general, but it misses a lot, so use it with caution, I guess. It also has the most spammable move that works for every enemy. So what you do is jump, slash twice, and lunge attack to the ground with a triangle. This move is so broken because 1, very few enemies actually hit players mid-air, and 2, the lunge attack lands you a hit and a safe spot to land on. Not to mention it doesn't take as much stamina to pull off. And if that weren't broken enough, you can equip a quick air devour, hit twice, rinse and repeat, forever. Probably one of the best aerial combos next to the longsword circular slash. Oh, and when you hold the dash button and press square, you get to do a backflip. A fucking backflip. It looks so cool and flashy, and also one of the best dodge moves in the game. I've avoided so many fatal hits with this move. Most of the time, I only do it by accident. And accidentally pressing it doesn't get annoying because when you do it 90% of the time, the enemy does a fatal move. So it's kind of like an accidental Deus Ex Machina that you never meant to do. Triangle is just your typical stabbing action. I use it mostly for ground enemies because it's faster to input than the slash attacks. But my favorite move so far, and my favorite move in the whole game, is the charge lunge. So by holding square, the player can charge up the spear, and when it's fully charged, the player launches a powerful lunging attack directed straight forward. It's good for single stationary enemies like Borg, Boro, and Quadriga. I also use it as a substitute for dashes because it doesn't expend any stamina. Resourcefulness at its finest, I guess. And if charge lunge wasn't enough, you can even do it mid-air. Yeah, mid-air charge lunge. This move is so broken because you can hit unbreakable weak spots and deal heavy amounts of damage. And then followed up by air devour, you can reach burst and abuse the move until the gauge runs out. And again, like the greatsword, if you equip fast charge skill, you can spam the move all you want. I can already hear the Serial screaming in fear. Oh my god! The charge spear does take a while to master, but when you do, you've got yourself the most versatile god arc at your disposal. It's a really balanced weapon and, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game. Next on the list is the Boost Hammer. Now, I'm not exactly a fan of hammers in games, but I'll admit this one's pretty badass. Both the square and triangle action pretty much do the same thing besides the final hits, which is ground pounding the ground harder than Amelia Watson playing Minecraft. I'm not a VTuber simp, I swear. It's the best move and perhaps my favorite, and it's in the name of the weapon itself, is a boost function. It's a special action where the character charges the backside of the hammer, and when released, you propel forward and hit enemies at the same time. What makes it more broken is that you can do another action after boosting. I personally do quick devours after it because it's easy to spam the move and gain burst that way. And for some reason, the hammer also has dash cancelling, which feels out of place, but I guess it works since boost is the only thing going for it. You're gonna use this weapon a lot when fighting Borkamlan because it's surprisingly weak to every hammer pound. Maybe it's a bug, or maybe it's just me, who knows. Unsurprisingly, it also moves as slow as the Greatsword, but most hammer weapons are like that in action games, so I don't know, it can't be helped, I guess. It takes some time to master this weapon, especially the aiming of the boost action, but when you do, and you find out that you can use boost on every move, you're just gonna use it all the time, like seriously. Lastly, there's the Scythe, also known as the King of AoE. I mean, sure, the square action looks cool and all, but you'll hardly be using it for missions unless the situation demands it. Most of its moves are circular slashes that have stupid reach, as shown by the triangle move. But what makes this weapon the king of AoE is its special action, where the player slashes surrounding enemies and lives slash damage at its place. It's so ridiculous how effective this move is when exterminating more than one enemy. It does expend stamina though, so you can't use it all the time. The Scythe is most compatible with grounded enemies like the Hannibal or the Vajra, and its AoE attacks can hit multiple parts at the same time, which is a keeper when you want to break all the parts as fast as possible. It's a fairly simple weapon to wield, and its only gimmick is its special attack. So if you want a cool looking weapon without putting in too much work into mastery, then this weapon's a perfect weapon for the job. Okay, that's enough melee talk for now. Let's talk guns. But before that, let me introduce you to the bullet editor. You're gonna spend a lot of time here. So this feature allows the player to create their own bullets, giving them the freedom to mix and match different bullet types and effects to use in missions. And you can get really creative with these. Like, sure, you can focus on making a bullet that does as much damage as possible, but you can also make cool looking bullets like this. You can adjust the range, direction, and the power of the bullet. Not to mention, you can connect two bullets to make cooler looking shots. The possibility is endless when it comes to making bullets, and before you know it, you spend an entire hour making it just your own. It's crazy. It's a cool feature that's kind of underrated, so do check it out if you want. Okay, now let's talk guns for real this time. Starting off with the sniper. My goodness, this weapon is unfair. So with the sniper, you can turn invisible. Yeah, I'm not even joking. So the stealth field allows you to become invisible to Aragami, and it can lead to really hilarious situations sometimes. Unfortunately, the stealth field isn't permanent, and if you've caught the enemy's aggro, you can't activate the stealth field anymore, unless you defeat them or run away. Also, like most sniper weapons in every game, it can one-shot enemies. Seriously, it's too OP, especially when you use custom bullets. But again, it's the sniper, so it's easy to miss a target, even when locked on. I highly recommend this weapon if you're going on full-on support. It's worth saving your materials on, trust me. Next, we have the assault rifle, which you can't use unless you bring a specific bullet type. Fuck. This is probably the worst gun in the game in my opinion, not just because you can't use other bullet types. You can only use normal bullets, and with it you can shoot fast, I guess, but that's it. You just kinda shoot faster than usual. I don't know why you'd even need to shoot fast when the objective of the game is staggering the enemy and breaking its parts. It consumes less OP, sure, but it also does low damage, so it's not really a fair trade-off. This weapon's just not worth your time, to be honest. I mean, it does this. I don't know what else to add to that. If you like rapid-fire weapons, then by all means use it, but I personally think it's the worst weapon in the game. Enough said. The next weapon is similar to the assault rifle in that you can only use specific bullets, but does far more with them. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the shotgun. So the shotgun can only do close range damage, but the closer you get to the enemy, the bigger the damage inflicted, as indicated by the critical circle. This weapon dabbles in risk-reward, so the closer you are to the enemy, the stronger your shots, but the more vulnerable you become. If you're the type of player who stays close to the enemy at all times and want to do as much damage as possible, then the shotgun has your back. Lastly, and my favorite gun so far, the cannon. So this weapon allows you to store OP, which you'll need to do because the cannon expends a lot with it. But it's worth it because it does stupid damage. It's also the go-to weapon if you don't want to use your melee weapon because you can just store as much OP as you want, be it by hitting corpses or using items. And as far as I know, it's the only weapon that allows any bullets to be shot, which makes it the most compatible weapon for custom bullets. This is the weapon to use, and I mean the weapon to use on large Aragami. Heck, throughout the whole playthrough, I've only used the cannon, and it's been so helpful in more ways than one. There's no debate that this is the best gun weapon in the game. I guess I should also talk about the shields. Okay, so, well, there's the buckler, a light shield that allows for quick guarding. There's also a medium shield, best used for guarding elemental attacks. And finally, the tower shield, a heavy shield that activates very slowly and cannot be used for quick guard, but cancel out any damage, be it physical or elemental. Skills are also gained through abandoned god arcs, which drops every mission. These abandoned god arcs carry with them skills that you can install on your own weapon, which makes for more personal weapon builds. The skills and god arcs obtained are random and you'll rarely get what you need most of the time, so you'll have to grind a lot to get them. There are also god arcs which carry more than one skill, so it's worth investing on if you want better stats. Last but not least, let's talk about the team feature. So in the game, you're allowed to bring up to 3 NPCs on missions. Each have their own style in combat, but the player is free to give commands to them. And you can further improve your skills and actions by equipping personal abilities. And you gain these skills by using AP, which you also gain by bringing your desired character on missions. These personal abilities range from higher HP boost, to longer endurance, to burst state conditions. There's the common skills like Trap Stock, where the character uses traps in combat, and then there's Beloved, where the NPC will enter burst mode if the player dies. Yeah, how romantic. Upgrading specific skills also allow the players to unlock special skills unique only to them. This feature brings more freedom in the player's build and preferred playstyle. If you want a Soma to focus on healing, you can. If you want an Alyssa to be a berserker, you can. There's so much potential in this feature, but the problem is that most of the skills are shared by every character, leaving very little unique skills to be discovered. It's also kind of unfair how other characters have level 5 common skills, while others are left with level 3. And it's a common skill, so I don't know why they put level 5 skills for each specific character. Whatever, it's just a small nitpick, I guess. I should also mention support skills. So, after every mission, you're asked to choose a character's support skill, and those skills offer post-mission rewards. Some skills allow players to obtain more materials, some increase reward rates for rare items, and some let you ignore conditions that must be met in order to obtain a specific item. This is really useful when grinding weapon materials and AP alike. And when you use a certain character enough times, it will trigger a hangout event where you will, hang out with the character. It doesn't really have a purpose, you just kinda hang out with them. Fun addition though. There's also so much to do in this game, and the missions itself are as fun as it is. It's got the charm that otakus love, and challenging gameplay that gamers will adore. And it's perhaps because of these factors that its similarities to its contemporaries become even more prevalent.
Jesus, man.
Okay, time to let the cat out of the bag. Just realized this analogy is fucking dark. Like, why the fuck would you put a cat inside a bag in the first place? You're trying to suffocate the fur thing, or are you sick fuck? Whoever invented this person should go fuck himself. But anyway, I've heard a lot of people compare the game to Monster Hunter, and to be honest, I can't blame them. At first glance, you might think that this is just a more edgy and post-apocalyptic version of Monster Hunter, but that cannot be further from the truth. First of all, the game mechanics that I've mentioned in the video are very different. For one, you can jump! For real though, because of the ability to jump, it gave the player the ability to create their own combos and even use this feature to their advantage when fighting against flying monsters like Sariel or huge monsters like Ouroboros. Also, if you're quick enough, you can get a glimpse of your character's underwear. Admit it, you do it too. We all do it. Sometimes, horizontal camera ain't enough. You need to be creative sometimes. Also, the game provides NPCs that the player is allowed to issue commands to. Kinda like Sokum. Sokum also had that kind of feature. This leads the player to construct strategies for different situations. When the Aragami is too strong, you can disperse the team and call them back in a different spot once they're all healed. Sometimes, you can divide the team when fighting two Aragamis at the same time, but this feature isn't really useful in multiplayer since, well, you can't control other players. But I like that this was a feature that helped you strategize against different enemies. Customizing your character is also pretty different, and I'm not just talking about character creations. There are also many ways you can build your character depending on your playstyle. Want to play as a defensive tank? You can. Want to just focus on range attacks? You betcha. Want to be fast as fuck all the time? You bet your ass you can. Although grinding materials for your build can be a drag, especially when the materials you need rarely drops. Thankfully, grinding isn't that much of a problem once you do all the side missions because they pretty much give you all the items you need once you accomplish them. This gives the player the motivation to do the side missions, so it often doesn't feel like you're farming, more like accomplishing tasks that will guarantee enhancements on your character. But I don't suggest you rely on those enhancements because it won't compensate for very, very bad playstyle. Trust me, I know. There's also the feel of the whole game. It's like God Eater has this glooming dread in its atmosphere even during lighthearted scenes. Granted, it lost the atmosphere in the sequel, but they brought that back in the third installment. The character dynamics did remind me a little of Phantasy Star, but I guess most RPGs be like that. Especially the big boobs thing, what's the deal with that? I think the point that I'm trying to make is that God Eater stands out from its contemporaries thanks to its many different features and ways to make a more personalized character through both NPC relationships and customizable builds. Now that everything's said and done, I think it's about time for me to wrap up this video because holy fuck, I've been talking for what feels like 5 hours now.
Ah, I'm a guy. Thank you, whoever.
If you've noticed, I didn't mention survival mode or perilous mission. That's because that's more of the second game's features. But even if I didn't mention those, you can already see the potential that this game had. Despite it being an underrated franchise, the God Eater games have something special in it that no other game can replicate. And even if it doesn't reach the mainstream, I don't really mind. This game is special to me and I'm sure other people as well. Yes, it might have been overshadowed by the behemoth that is Monster Hunter, which I also love to death. It doesn't change the fact that this is a great game. It's got everything I'd ever want in an action RPG, anime aesthetics, fast-paced action, personal build creations, you name it. God Eater also introduced me to games that I wasn't usually interested in, like FPS and tactical RPGs with its command function and quick eye-hand coordination for former and the readiness level of the latter. But I gotta say, what a journey this was. Best 50 hours of my life. I can't wait to make a retrospective of the second game. But until then, this has been The Journey. This is God Eater Resurrection, a retrospective. Holy crap, this took 2 months to make. 2 months to make this 3-hour video, so I really hope it was worth it, and I really hope that YouTube doesn't suck balls and remove this video because of copyright reasons, even though most of it is in the game anyway. So yeah, let's hope that this doesn't get removed. But anyway, if you stuck here all this time watching all 3 hours of this video, then thank you very much, because this really means a lot to me. It took me literally 2 months to make some. I think it's already been 3 months, so yeah, it's been really long, and I really hope that you support this channel. And if you want me to make the retrospective of the second game, then all you gotta do is subscribe and like this video. And yeah, I just really need your support if I'm going to keep making these kinds of retrospective. I can make a lot of retrospective in just 2 months, and it was really fun making these kinds of videos. So I'm hoping that, you know, I can make another opportunity like this. I can make another retrospective video. I don't know when yet, but it really depends on all of your help. So yeah, if you really want to help, if you want more videos on this, then you can go subscribe, you can go like on my video, leave a comment. Like, everyone in this channel is nice, so you can just leave a comment down there, and yeah, we can just talk and chill. But yeah, this has been a really long credits video, and yeah, all I gotta say is thank you very much for listening to my 3-hour rant about God Eater, a game which I just really love. And yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say. Bye.